Yep.
Now, the scandal unfolded a day of Zhang's club 103-90 loss to another team. Zhang played for 25 minutes, scored 5, had 3 turnovers, only 2 rebounds.
Who'd you have in Lance's luck?
I stayed away from that one. That was a tough one. Now, his girlfriend has deleted the controversial social media post in which he released pictures displaying affection between the pair. On January night, Zhang's club denied online suitcase smuggling speculation. An anonymous official from the club said the picture posted on the girlfriend's social media account was actually taken in August during the team's offseason when she went to Zhang's dorm to help him pack clothes.
Yeah. Did they Photoshop out the blow pop in her left cheek?
I think that's just the tongue that she's pushing through. Finally, I never saw the movie Her. I like Spike Jonze, weird dude. Obviously, Joaquin Phoenix, really good actor. Have you seen it, Tyler?
I have.
Is it worth the watch?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. Now, in the movie Her, if it piqued your interest, and an AI partner, a company at CES 2025, is willing to sell you a robot girlfriend if you have $175,000 to spare.
Yeah. Robot girlfriend or the new anchor of today? I don't know. You tell me.
Realbotics is an American firm with a range of AI robots that it claims can fulfill a variety of roles, including acting as a brand rep at a sales booth, as a companion for an elderly person, or even as a romantic partner to, quote, tackle the staggering loneliness epidemic. Now, the robots range from a $12,000 bust, basically a talking head and shoulders that you could place on a table, to the top-of-the-range Aria shown above, which is a $175,000 model that can move its limbs and move around in a circular plinth, like a mannequin riding a Roomba vacuum cleaner. There's even a mid-range model costing $150,000 that can be disassembled and packaged into a suitcase to take with you.
Just like Jane's girlfriend.
Now, Realbotics CEO Andrew Kiggle told the company's mission is to, quote, create robots that are indistinguishable from humans. This one's not, by the way.
Yeah.
You have not done your job on this first one. The robots can be configured as either male or female, and the company claims it can even replicate historical figures or celebrities.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, if you're a celebrity
changer.
and they make an AI that's running around like you, there's got to be some kind of legal recourse, right?
I would think so, yeah.
But like if I'm ABC 30 through 40, it'd be nice to have a little robotic James Spann. So while James goes to the bathroom, the other guy can sit out there and tell me about where my, what's the little thing called?
The polygon.
The polygon, yeah.
You respect the polygon?
Yeah.
Now, this dude is insisting that,
was a directive, by the way.
that this robot is not to be used for a sex toy.
Not at all.
I
You
do
shouldn't
not
do it.
want you to
But
do
if
that.
you've got, if you've got
We've
the,
included the parts.
if you've got the dude banging a horse, I mean,
I know. I think we've got that anyways.
I mean, really, how realistic are these things going to be in 3 or 4 or 5 years?
Very.
Probably very.
Yeah.
So I watched the video with this one. The guy was giving a demonstration, and there was a lot of lag between the robot Aria talking and the lips moving and limbs moving.
So it's not realistic.
See,
yet.
I just
Not
want
yet.
one
They got
that
a ways to
will
go.
chop
That didn't bother
wood
me.
and will clean the pool and clean the bathrooms, the toilets, all that kind of stuff. Like, I would like to have one just running around the house.
Yeah, you want a maid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lag doesn't bother me. I grew up with Bruce Lee movies. I'm used to it.
And maybe they can cook too, right? I would assume.
Cook, clean, all the good stuff.
This one does not do any of those. It's just for...
Because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com. Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light. is on now.
All right, live show now on a Wednesday. Forrester Brown making fun of me pre-show.
Well,
LT.
that's David Ends and why.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't hear it. Sometimes it's behind the scenes.
We'll get to college football. We'll get to the NFL in a second. But in the back, we're running through, things we put at the bottom of our YouTube channel to tell you what we're going to talk about today. And
Let me guess. Bama can't hit a shot.
My first two things was Auburn answered all the questions. And then second topic was worst game in Nate Oats' era at Alabama, ? Those two extremes?
That's pretty extreme.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. I can't think of another one. The name, I try to keep people from saying it 3 times last night at Coleman Coliseum. I hear people say Anthony Grant. And I said, whoa, don't say it 3 times. You don't want to conjure him up.
I mean, look, this is still an Ole Miss team that is a top 25 team, that it was, a 6-7 point game within a minute to go. Look, it was not a good look offensively for Alabama. I mean, how many years has Nate been there now? 5? Is that right?
I don't think he's had a worse loss.
You don't think he's had a worse loss than a top 25 team in his play? I mean, now they played poorly, but there's a worse loss. This is an overstatement. You sat there and watched this last night, and you're badly overreacting.
No.
Text Nate and just ask him.
Hear me? I know. We've got sound from Nate. I think Nate's about to tell you himself.
Yeah, Nate lives in the moment.
He's a passionate young man. I will tell you that. Now, listen, great opponent. I'm not saying not a great opponent.
I mean, I wouldn't say great.
Yeah,
we said yesterday, good team that's going to get better and better under Chris Beard.
Okay,
got a lot better.
Good team that's going to get grading better and better under. I'm not saying who they lost to, Brown. They've lost to worse teams than Ole Miss. I'm saying the performance they put in was the worst performance they put in under Nate Oats.
Okay, well, that's a different statement than you said.
I don't think that is.
You said it's the worst loss in Nate Oats' history, and now you're saying it's the worst performance. That's two different things.
I don't think it is, but
I mean,
I do.
Is the worst performance, is that like a indictment on Nate?
He said it was last night. He says, I thought we had us ready.
Yeah,
we didn't.
He said, and then he said it again today. He was on with Peter. I don't know who's co-hosting with Peter on SEC Network, but he was on this morning. He said
probably Dari.
He said, it's my job to get this team motivated, and I didn't do it. This is on me.
Yeah. We in our postgame show last night, I said this to Taylor. And I almost was reacting to it in real time, too, because as we were doing the show, I had just gotten up there. We were live. And I said, I mean, about 12 turnovers a game is when your coach is pissed at you, right? I mean, 12 turnovers a game, they're like...
Well, that's more than Alabama averages. What do they average on the season, 9?
Yeah, but they're 12. You're like, guys, we've got to have better ball security. They had 21 last night, Lance.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
No, I mean, you combine that with the fact more than double your season average in turnovers, and then you're less than half of what you typically hit behind the arc, 5 of 20. That's a recipe for disaster.
They only shot 47 shots. He usually wants to shoot 43s.
Yeah.
They shot the ball 47 times total. That includes a missed dunk and putback.
Well, we talked about, and we'll get to the other side of the state, I'm sure, and Chris Jans and that defense is better than Ole Miss's defense. Didn't look like it, in Beard Eves last night. But this Ole Miss defense, what was the team total for Alabama? 86.5?
87.5. I could not believe how far short they fell of that.
Look, if you had the under there, boy, you never sweated that.
No, you didn't even have to watch second half.
Yeah. What was that old, what was it, Price is Right game, and that little hitchhiker would be going up, not hitchhiker, mountain climber would be going up. Yeah.
That one.
And you'd have to keep it from going off the edge by getting close to the price.
Yeah, he didn't even get started.
Never worried. That guy never broke a sweat last night.
He's still at base camp.
And as good as Sears has been leading the SEC in scoring, this was that Sears we saw kind of in a lull early in the season.
Well, the scary part is...
and that was 39 minutes, 2 of 8.
I mean, physical. It was a physical game, and they stepped in front of passes. They couldn't get shots off. Give me cut 3.
On TV, it looked like a 1980s Eastern Conference playoffs game. Was it that physical in person? Did you not think the same thing on TV?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think that. I mean, I might have thought
so freaking physical in the paint, and I think the refs did not cost Alabama the game. Don't hear me say this, but I do think it was officiated allowing for a physical game. It was like the opposite of what we saw in College Station.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is Alabama shot 10 more free throws.
Yeah. I would say this. I would say that, okay, when you're in basketball, I think we just all assume that when you're at home, they're usually going to officiate the way you like to play. You know what I mean?
That is the assumption.
Like when you go to Knoxville, they're going to officiate it usually the way Rick Barnes likes to play basketball. You know, when Tennessee goes on the road, they usually have to play it differently than they do in Knoxville. Not that they're favoring, they just, it ends up being your style. It didn't play to Nate Oats' style last night. I'll tell you that. It was physical. I thought the Texas A&M game was physical.
It was, and Alabama was able to manage that.
Yeah, different tempo. I mean, I say that. The referees kind of chopped that up with the 88 free throws.
Yeah.
Hey, you mentioned Tennessee. Early March, Ole Miss hosting Tennessee.
Oh, it might be some blood on the court for that one.
Can you imagine?
Dude, I
total's 110.
I talked to somebody after the game. They said, man, you don't even have to scout this Ole Miss team with this year's tape. Just throw in 2018 Texas Tech. That's what you're looking at right now. This team at
just
Ole
like
Miss,
defensively,
like
you
don't have a Jared Culver though.
No, just defensively. He says if you're trying to scout their defense, he's got his defense dialed in Oxford in just a year or two. Here's Nate Oats. You think I'm overreacting saying it was the worst performance in Nate's time? I'll let Nate talk to you. Nate?
At halftime, you kind of called it sleepwalking. How disappointing is that to see in a game where you're trying to stay in first place?
It's disgusting, to be honest with you. With the amount of fifth-year seniors we have and the leadership that should be shown on this team, to have guys not come in ready to play, it starts with me because I'm supposed to be the one motivating these guys, and I obviously didn't motivate them very well to make sure they're ready. So I'm going to have to look in the mirror, see what I didn't do. We're going to have a good talk with some of these seniors that are supposed to be our leaders and figure out why we weren't ready to go tonight, because it's very disappointing. It's disgusting and it's frustrating. And it's not like we lost to a bad team. This is a really good team. I mean, they're in first place. Them and Auburn are tied now, first place in the league. But we didn't lose because they were just a far superior team tonight. I felt like we lost because they came ready to play. They brought energy. They brought effort. And we did not. That's a frustrating way to lose.
So he had two frustrating and two disgusting, which disgusting is a big word from a head coach.
Yeah, well, look, Nate makes a lot of money, and this is the expectations, another Final Four for this team. Just looking back, because I just wanted to go back a year to see if there was a loss that would match this. How in the hell did that team get to the Final Four? This is okay. So
this team's better than they lost 11 games last year.
Yeah,
okay.
but listen to how they lost some of these games. So in the SEC tournament, they lost by 14 to Florida.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Earlier,
wasn't that close. I was there.
In Gainesville, they lost by 18 to Florida to end the regular season.
They had a Florida problem.
They lost by 22 at Kentucky back in February.
Yep.
They lost by 18 at Auburn.
Yep.
And they lost by 20 in Knoxville.
I know.
None of that sways me off of what I'm telling you.
Okay.
That was the worst performance under Nate Oats last night.
Well,
listen,
look,
scoreboards are scoreboards.
Okay, well, you
I've got two eyes. God gave me two eyes and two ears.
I will give you this. You are a double-digit favorite. That is a game you're supposed to win.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can pull a positive out of that game.
Oh, there's not. And in fact, 2 minutes and 15 seconds left, I think Mark Sears is going to the free throw line. I mean, a lot can happen in 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, Alabama had cut it to, 6 or 8 inside of 2 minutes?
I think right there it may have been at 10. They got it to 6.
They got it to 6 at one point inside 2 minutes.
But Mark Sears, foul, he's going to the free throw line. 2 minutes and 15 seconds at sold-out Coleman Coliseum. And it looked like it was Dodgers. Do they leave early at Dodger Stadium?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you were standing in the aisles waiting for room. It wasn't people just getting up and walking out, and the aisle was clear.
Dunaway, it was a 6 o'clock Tuesday game. You
got to get back to Birmingham,
dude, man. I have never, again, big extreme Forster, I have never seen a crowd leave together at that moment of time in my years of covering Alabama sports. That they at
Jimmy over-exaggeration.
I would say so, yeah.
At 2:15, it was almost like Tony Giles.
But if I just would have...
Everyone's car is on fire. You need to go get in the car.
Try to clear your canvas here.
All right.
If I would have just told you that Ole Miss shoots 38% from the field in Coleman and they only score 74 points.
Oh.
Do you think Alabama wins easily?
90, I would have said, Lance.
It's a double-digit win and they cover.
92-74.
You would feel good about the cover, though, right?
87-74 for me, yeah.
I'd go 92-74, yeah. And I would have said, man, Alabama scored 92 on a Chris Beard defense. That's pretty good.
I'd said 87 on a Chris
Beard.
Do
you guys with Ole Miss scoring 72, I would have thought Alabama dictated the pace. Or 74, I would have thought Alabama had dictated the pace, right?
Yeah.
That Ole Miss is at 74. The problem is Alabama scored in the 90s again.
So after the game, my thoughts were, how good can this Ole Miss team be, or is Alabama just a little overrated?
Okay.
Which direction would you go with that?
Let's let Chris Beard answer.
Okay.
Give me cut number 5.
No, this is fun.
Chris Beard. Now you know Chris Beard. I mean, he just won the game on the road by 10. What does that do to your metrics, Brownie? That's pretty good. It's gonna help. That's going to help you all season long.
This is what a quad 1-1, isn't it?
This is a quad 1A. So Chris Beard, obviously, Lance, is going to answer this question a certain way.
Nothing but respect for Nate and his team. They were in the Final Four for a reason last year, and they're certainly, in my opinion, one of the best teams in college basketball. Maybe it's time to talk a little bit about Ole Miss. You know, it's early. I don't say that in a self-promoting way. I've been here before, but I do think that, my job is to take up for my team a little bit. So, tonight, 2 really good teams playing. And I think most of the national scene didn't give Ole Miss much of a chance. And our players believed that we could be successful in this game, and that's what we did.
Oh, by the way, they didn't have an answer for the guy sitting next to him. That's Malik Dia.
Oh, yeah. He was pretty good.
23 points, 19 rebounds.
Well, I mean, the good news, Bama gets to go to Rupp on
Saturday. I know. That's right. How you bounce back.
The perfect turnaround spot.
Now, but you guys would give me, if they were able to go in there and upset the Cats, and they're probably going to be like a 4.5-point dog, it's kind of a wash, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, the week would be a wash.
Here's the good news. Ole Miss, 18th in the Ken Palm, 14th after last night's defensive effort, and their defensive rating.
So it's a quad 1 loss? Right now it is, I think, yeah.
So this is Ken Palm. This is not net. I'd have to look at the net. But my point
where is their defense right now ranked?
14th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 14th. My point was going to be Kentucky is 75th. So, I mean, it's going to feel like you're playing against air going from Chris Beard's defense to Mark Pope's defense.
Yeah, because Mark likes to play like Nate.
Yeah, he does. Now, the problem will be Kentucky can score with anybody.
Yeah.
They got a really good offense, so you can't have the offensive night you had last night.
So next week should be the easy week for Alabama as far as going 2-0 because you get both.
Who do they have? Only Florida, Tennessee?
Vanderbilt and LSU at home.
Yeah.
So, again, you're going to be double-digit
you can
favorites.
rest some starters for that one.
But then the schedule gets really tricky because you go to Starkville.
Yep.
Really good team.
Tough game.
You've got Georgia coming. I don't know how good Georgia's going to be on the road.
We'll learn a little bit tonight. They're on the road to Tennessee, but that's a tough place to win.
Then they got to go to Arkansas, to Texas, and then that big game with Auburn coming into Coleman.
Yeah, Arkansas is not very good.
But still, Arkansas on the road and Texas on the road, those are very losable games.
Oh, anywhere on the road in the SEC. By the way, before last night, the Rebels were 0-34 all-time on the road against the top 5. I'll say that again for those in the back. 0-34 all-time on the road against the top 5.
They've got a top 5 coach. I think people are realizing that.
Lance Taylor, I will tell you, and EG will back me up here on this. I probably said your name 6 times last time in Coleman Coliseum. I said, this is a Lance Taylor exclamation point game here. He always has trumpeted Chris Beard, and this guy has come in here and
well, I mean, how quick has he gotten him good?
Oh, this is, what are we? We're halfway through year 2?
Year 2.
Yeah.
And he's got a team that is an NCAA tournament team and not sneaking in the tournament either.
And by the way, cocky enough that in the middle of his post-game press conference when there's a lull in questions because most of the people there are Alabama people waiting for Nate Oats coming afterwards, there's a pause and he goes, I know this is a basketball building, but how do you guys not have one picture of Nick Saban in here somewhere?
Did he really?
Yeah, not one picture.
He really said that?
He goes, I don't want to tell you guys how to do anything, but there should be at least one picture of Nick Saban.
Kind of agree. I mean, you could drop a Saban banner. I don't think Alabama fans would care.
Yeah.
It's when I talk to Chip, because Chip brings us up a lot, Chip Brown, who covers Texas, And he's like, man, they should have never fired Chris Beard because there's a lot more details than we know about that.
Yeah.
Now, in the moment, it seemed like Texas really didn't have a choice, right? It's kind of like the Green Bay Packer fan that filmed the video of the Philadelphia Eagle. That guy has been destroyed now.
But I think he got fired, right?
He did get fired, but now there's people on the other side saying, well, there might have been some things that were really said. Look, there's no excuse for his behavior, but we do see one clip.
That's right.
That thing goes viral. Now everybody's out to get this guy. You hear one thing from one side of the story with Chris Beard. His life in the moment is ruined. He loses his dream job, which was Texas. Look, he's fine now, but you look back at that and you're like, if Texas could have waited that thing out, how different is the Texas program?
Yeah, if they had Florida's leadership, you're saying?
The Todd Golden thing is going away.
Yeah, I mean, it never gets mentioned.
Ever.
Yeah. He said they were a top 5 team.
They were.
They were a top 5 team.
That in a second. We got to get to the number 1 team in the country. But the perfect storm last night as well. Beard coaches defense. They lead the nation in 3-point defense. Alabama likes to do what?
Shoot the three.
They'll take a 3.
Yeah, didn't do well last night. Alabama's best offensive player. You never thought you'd say this ever, maybe. Aiden Holloway was 5 of 6 in shooting last night, 15 points to lead the team. The only other guy in double figures was Mark Sears with 11, a sleepy 11 from Sears. Just however you want to look at it.
Holloway has been a pleasant surprise.
He really has.
Yeah. The guy is so good.
I got to find the plus-minus real quick. Did I not see that Sears was like -22 in the plus-minus?
Well, probably because he played 39 minutes.
I mean, that's incredible. I don't think you'll ever see Mark Sears -22.
11 a.m. ESPN coming up this weekend. Our show being brought to you by a couple of great folks. One of them is our friends at the Golfus. Not a bad weather day today.
No, it's not terrible, but it's
next week.
Oh, next week's gonna be awful. Yeah. Have you all seen?
Are we gonna?
Yeah,
have they
Tuesday.
Have they called school yet?
No, they haven't called it yet. But I'd stay tuned because all the weather people are saying, guys, I know it's hard to predict, but Tuesday looks bad.
Yeah, the next round of storms next week.
That's right. You never have to worry about that with the Golfus, though. It is Birmingham's best indoor golf simulators. They've already got a location right there in Vestavia Highway 31, newly opened Van Road, just off 11 right there in Trussville is where you can find that. Coming soon to Highway 280, Birmingham's best golf simulators. Don't have that boring office meeting. Get in the office, out of the office, and go to the Golfus. Also, a great place for your couple showers, guys' night, girls' night. Go watch the games while playing golf on the golf simulator, all the courses you know and love. You can do all that right there at the Golfus. Bring your own clubs. Bring your own food. Bring your own drink to the Golfus. If you want more information, just go to their website, thegolfus.com, thegolfus.com. Get out of the office and go to the Golfus.
So I've got an idea. You go to the Golfus, you go with your boys,
Bingo.
and the weather's bad this time of year, and then you send your girlfriend or wife to the Woodhouse Day Spa.
That's a win-win.
It is a win-win on weekends. You can do it. It's Birmingham's best luxury day spa. They've got a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. You can order that special person gift online 24/7. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Gift card, simple solution. Again, you can buy them 24/7 online or just stop by the Woodhouse Day Spa. Beautiful location right there at the Summit Shopping Centers. Get in, see Stuart and the great staff. Tell them the next round sent you.
Can I just clean up? Mark Sears was not -22. He was -12. So I did see that wrong. 22 would have been a lot. That's why. But that was the worst on the team, by the way.
Yeah.
Big Clifford was a 0 and Aiden Sherrill was a 0. That was the best Alabama did last night.
Yeah.
So
they didn't have an answer for Malik inside Dia. Am I saying that right? Dia, Dia. I think it's Dia.
He was +14, in case you're wondering. 23 points.
Yeah, 11 of 21, 23 points, and 19 rebounds. The number 1 team, newly minted number 1, Auburn and Bruce Pearl, playing without the guy who is leading the discussion for National Player of the Year, Johni Broome. So obviously you go into this game at home, which is a positive, 7-point favorite. But here comes nationally ranked Mississippi State, and you had some questions. Who's going to step up? As Little T said in the postgame last night, who didn't step up for Auburn? Here's Bruce Pearl afterwards.
In terms of being without Johni, you've got an experienced team. Is there any message that you give to guys like Chad and Denver and Chaney beforehand, or do you just kind of trust them to take advantage of the moment?
No, you sort of trust them. We're going to miss Johni more on the offensive end because he's such a great offensive player, and he's such an unselfish passer, and we can do a lot of game planning around him offensively. So I would say that we probably had to go to some other things offensively more so. But our guys knew what they knew what they needed to do. And I thought, like I said, everybody on the roster stepped up. And it's going to be about matchups, and it's about not getting too high, not getting too low. This is what's crazy, okay? We just beat a team by 22 that beat a team that we just beat by 3 they beat by 30. They beat South Carolina by 30 or 30-something.
35.
It's just wacky in this league now. It's just you can't really predict what's going to happen. Let's just get to the next one and just see if we can keep getting better.
And I obviously was at the Alabama game, so I've had to catch a few highlights and read about it. It looks to me like Chaney Johnson could start at a lot of places.
Well, I think Stephen Pearl told us that a couple of weeks ago. But, yeah, if you wonder what Chaney Johnson looked like as a starter, goes out, has 17, 8, 4 blocks, was so active, both sides of the court. Chad Baker-Mazara, again, just incredible performance. Hit that 3 right before the half. You knew it was just going right for Auburn. They opened the game 10-0 run. They never looked back. They got up by as many as 26. They never trailed in this game. And that is a really, really good Chris Jans defense, and they hung 88 on them without maybe the player of the year.
Yeah, I mean, that's wild to think about. And, it's what we talked about on the show yesterday. I know Lance and I felt this way. I couldn't remember what you said. I think you felt the same way, is that there will be a whole lot of emotion for a number of reasons. Number one, full arena. Not the arena is not full, but students back in, so it's a real home crowd there at Neville. And we talked with Stephen about this. You've got the emotion of saying, we're not just Johni Broome. We're a really good basketball team with or without him. And you got a lot of guys motivated to go show that. And I think when you start on a 10-0 run, and Chad Baker-Mazara, I believe, had 8 of the first 10, you're showing that, right? So I thought this would be an emotional performance. We said all day yesterday, really, really difficult spot for State, and it showed.
Yeah, but you got to. I know you hate the phrase, but you got to give them their flowers. I mean, to lose Broome and have so many.
I have never heard that until you said it. I still haven't heard it. Is it something like Emily in Paris? Is it the Bridgerton?
I don't know if it's Bridgerton.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just the only one saying. Maybe I'm trying to start something. But anyway, you got to give them credit, dude, because.
Again, I said this the other day. I think this could be or is a top 10 team without Johni Broome. I think as good as Broome is, I mean, that team last night just looked incredible. And I do think that Brown made this point yesterday that you just alluded to. They were going to be super fired up, playing in front of their home crowd without Johni Broome, wanted to show what they could do without their alpha. And, boy, they proved a point there. And you know what Auburn's got? We mentioned Aiden Holloway with Alabama coming off the bench, instant offense. Pettiford's same guy. Different player.
Yeah. So I get home last night, and I'm like, okay, let me start searching for highlights. I didn't want to, I was tired. I didn't want to throw on my ESPN Plus.
Where do you do the postgame from?
Right there in Coleman.
Okay.
Yeah, little T was in her car last night, so because that game ended earlier because there, I don't know.
Well, it's a blowout.
Yeah,
so Little T's driving on camera doing a postgame?
No, she's just waiting in her car.
I was about to say, it's pretty impressive.
She could do it. She could do it if anyone could. So I get home and I'm like, I just want Auburn highlights. I don't want to watch them. I record Auburn and Alabama games. I don't want to go back and rewatch the TV broadcast. And I couldn't get to one highlight. Just kept popping up in my feed. The first 12 highlights I watched it the first time. And I was like, God, did something else happen? I had to watch it again. It's the same play. That Pettiford dunk.
I mean, a windmill dunk? You see that in dunk contests. You don't see it a whole lot in a college game.
He's listed at 6'1". Is he 6'1"?
I don't know.
He didn't look 6'1" in that play.
My Lord, a windmill dunk in live action. You don't see that one a whole lot.
Yeah. I mean, that's a
Oh,
10
yeah.
out of 10.
I'm
holding 10 up. And you're right. It's in the game.
Yeah. I mean, that was not pregame warm-ups. It was not some exhibition or dunk contest.
It was off a dribble.
It was off a dribble breakaway in a game. I mean, this kid, the way he played.
What do you call that, a windmill?
Yeah. No, it's 100% a windmill dunk. The superlatives for Pettiford right now, I don't know which ones to use. I mean, this guy's playing elite-level basketball, especially considering his age.
Yeah, and again, another guy that would probably start on 95% of the teams out there.
Yeah, but when he stepped in front of that pass, I was saying, look how quick he is. And then for him to sprint down the court and do that at the end of it, that was nasty. So Auburn wins, but this is the SEC. They go on the road this weekend to sneaky Georgia.
Yeah, so I mean, this Auburn team is the best team in college basketball, especially when they're whole. I don't know if you really can deny that. I know they've got the one loss to Duke and watching Duke again last night. I mean, I don't know if they're going to get challenged.
Well,
in
the
ACC
is so bad.
Okay,
yeah.
but we won't get to a point this year. Seth Greenberg joked on the ESPN desk in the broadcast the first Saturday of SEC play. It was at halftime of the Florida-Kentucky game at Rupp Arena. He joked about Auburn's the best team in the country, and it's not close, I think he said, or at least the best team in the country. And the person who was there beside him said, Seth, you're not saying Auburn versus the field, are you? And he says, not yet, but we may get to that point. Do you think we could get to that point at one point where we're going into March Madness and it's Auburn versus the field?
Are we talking nationally?
Yeah.
We're not talking Auburn versus the SEC field.
Yeah.
For the regular season.
Yeah, I will take the field if we ever get to that point.
I'll tap my brakes on
I
that.
can only remember a few times when we really talked about that. 2012 Kentucky, the Zion Williamson team, when was that? 2021 Duke?
Yeah, sneaker year?
19 maybe. I forgot what year that was. And they lost in the Sweet 16. Last year, UConn, we did do that.
Yeah.
People that took the field lost.
Yep, that's right. That was the one time we could say, sorry, field.
That's hard to do. I mean, maybe. I don't, put it this way, Dunaway. So they do go to Georgia this week. They're going to be favored at Georgia, I think, without Broome, which is crazy.
Road favorite without Johni Broome.
Yep. Then
By how much? I mean, it's a skinny favorite.
Skinny, 2.5, 3.5.
You probably need to see Georgia, Tennessee tonight. If Georgia somehow won in Knoxville tonight,
that would change
things.
Change it, yeah. And then after Georgia, you do have that Tennessee team you're talking about coming to the jungle. Yeah. And then you go to LSU, Ole Miss. I mean, look, if Auburn, navigates this deep into, late February with 1 or 2 conference losses, I think you can start having that conversation.
One more thing to get to in this opening segment here. Matt Mosley will join us a little bit later on. Guys, Jerry's not going to hire Deion.
Oh,
nobody wants a bigger.
Mosley's pulling for it.
Nobody wants a brighter star in Dallas than himself, guys.
Was Mosley talking about Chip Brown's perm?
We'll get Matt Mosley will join us coming up at 10:30.
He sent me a clip of Ian. I forgot what it was. Yeah, it was on the field, one of the playoff games. Oh. There goes your boy.
One more thing to get to in this segment about SEC basketball, but Brownie wants to tell us first about the great folks at the World of Wills. This is such a, this is a generational event that comes to Birmingham every year. And I tell you that because now fathers are taking their kids after their fathers took them to the World of Wills.
It is the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wills, January 31 through February 2nd at the BJCC. Custom classic cars, hot rods, trucks, and motorcycles. New this year, check out the exotic car exhibit. Don't miss the BMX bike stunt team performing outrageous stunts live each day. Kids, meet your favorite costume characters, race Hot Wheels on the free Hot Wheels drag track. Don't miss the Super Show with one-of-a-kind vehicles from across the country. Get your discount tickets today at O'Reilly Auto Parts stores and get all the details at worldofwills.net.
Hey, another undefeated night at Lance's Lock.com.
Back-to-back?
Back-to-back, yeah.
That's a heater.
So jump on 4-0 last night. Jump on board. Win with us. We've got more plays coming up tonight. Lance'sLog.com. Free play every single day. It is always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. I had to call Andrew yesterday afternoon. I'm having 3 drains that are backing up. And I was like, hey, I probably shouldn't ask this to a plumbing company, but like if I was just to pick up some liquid Drano and pour it in there, it's like, don't do it.
Don't do it.
We will be out Thursday afternoon. So tomorrow afternoon, Hemp Hill Services coming back out. By the way, they don't need directions anymore to my house.
They've got the branch right there, don't they?
But yeah, if you have any of these issues, call Adam, Chad, or Andrew. They are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. HempHillServices.com.
Listen, for those that are watching us around the country and the city that we broadcast from, Birmingham, 5 Points used to be an entertainment district. I don't know if it still is or not.
It is.
Yeah, but it used to be the hub of entertainment in
not
Birmingham.
What it once was.
And it got to where there was so much crime there that they actually put a precinct right on the corner.
That's right. Right
downtown.
next to a pancake joint.
Yeah. Across from Pancake and right next to a Waffle House for a while.
That's right. It was right by
only
Waffle
Waffle House I've ever seen close.
Yeah, we used to have right there. Do you remember the fall and spring festivals they would have down there around the fountain?
It was the best.
Yeah, and the fights down there. And I had a buddy multiple times was put in the paddy wagon.
Yeah.
And so because
did that buddy look anything like you?
They were no, they were. And I'll tell you this is a funny story there because my older brother was a cop, so I got one of his handcuff keys one time, and I would just keep it on me. And I remember one time, This is a true story. So this was a fall festival, and a buddy of mine had gotten in a fight and had been handcuffed to one of the lamp poles down there because they were arresting so many different people. They just hadn't have a room for him before the precinct. And so I walked up with that key and just
started unlocking people.
Just unlocked him.
Oh, just your buddy, not the other.
Well, I mean,
people.
he was the only one that was locked up at that point.
I was about to say, come on, fella, God.
You think Officer Jones came back and said, "Well, wait, how did that happen?"
You know, they probably just didn't even care.
Yeah,
he's been released into my custody.
So not to step on your story, but before there was a precinct, there was a lot of arrests down there, and they didn't know what to do with them.
Oh, I forgot where I was going, but I was like, so much crime, they put a precinct there. Hemp Hill probably should put a precinct just right at your circle.
There's no doubt. Just buy the house next door.
Buy one of those houses and just turn it into Hemp Hill West. Or whatever.
That is one thing I can't stand. Like, Brad Bell did the brand new bathroom, the shower.
Yeah.
But like, I'll let the water run before I get in.
That's
I think a lot of
get it
people do
nice
that.
and hot. Yeah.
So then I'm stepping in and I've got like a little puddle.
No, I can't stand that.
There's no way.
I can't stand that. Don't want to stand in that. Might as well take a bath at that point. All right, SEC basketball before we get out of here. The rest of the games, Kentucky beat Texas A&M at Rupp last night. Good Texas A&M team, but back-to-back losses. Kentucky is really good under Mark Pope. Calipari lost again. That's 4 losses for him. They're 0-4 in the SEC.
Is this becoming kind of the Marcus Freeman, Brian Kelly, Kentucky, Arkansas?
The Calipari is Brian Kelly?
Yeah, there's no doubt that Kentucky fans are loving Cal's failures as much as they're loving Pope's success.
And when Kentucky, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but when Pope took this job, I think Kentucky fans were like, okay, he's one of ours, but I don't know if this is going to work.
Yeah, and he's
kind of like Marcus
button.
Freeman getting that Notre Dame job.
Yeah. We'll give him a year or two and see if it works out. But the story last night is Missouri going on the road and winning in Gainesville 83-82.
Unexplainable.
Number 5, Florida, who I think could win a national championship. And Missouri beats them on the road.
Now,
is
Dennis Gates' team better than we thought? Because they are 14-3. Look, a lot of teams have incredible out-of-conference records, and then they step into conference play. But, man, I mean, if Missouri's not even – I don't know if they're good or not, but the confidence that will give them to win in Gainesville, now they believe they're good, whether they are or not. I mean, their one loss in conference was to Auburn, which everybody loses to that team. And then you go back – one of their other losses before that was a 3-point loss to Illinois, who is destroying people.
Yeah, killed Indiana last night. So much so they were chanting in Bloomington, "Fire Mike Woodson."
Yeah, that's going bad right there.
Yeah, that is bad. So they opened the season at Memphis. They lost that game. They've lost to Illinois, and they've lost to Auburn. That is it.
Who have they beaten? They beat number 1 Kansas at that point.
That's right.
They did by 9.
And I think I read this. Did Missouri ever play for a national championship?
No, I don't think they made it past the Elite Eight. Mike Anderson took them to the Elite Eight.
Never been to a Final Four. Yeah, Quinn Snyder took them to the Elite Eight too.
Yeah, or maybe they won something. The last time they had 2 top 5 wins, they won something.
Wow.
And
probably the Big 12.
And they've already got a number 5, number 1 win.
So I got this from...
Yeah, it had to be the Big 12, or maybe it beat Oklahoma in football that year.
Yeah, maybe it was the Big 8 or something.
A friend of mine driving back from the Auburn game last night said, I was stunned when I heard this, but it was the Florida announcer that said it. He said, I'm driving back from the Auburn game, listening to the Florida game on Sirius XM. The Florida announcer just said Todd Golden is 2-25 when trailing with 5 minutes left in the game.
Well, that's not good.
That's an incredible
5 minutes
stat.
is a lot of time.
That is a lot of time. 2-25. And he's like, I wouldn't believe it, but it's the Florida announcer that said it. Surely he's not, killing his own guy like that.
I would think. How many years has he been at Florida now? Is this 3? Year 3? Or is it year 2?
I think it's not year 2. I think it's
year
at least
3.
Yeah.
I would think he'd be in more, tight games in the final 5 minutes playing in the SEC.
That's 25 of them, and he's only won 2. Or
course,
it's 27, he's only won 2.
Basically a season if he's only been there 3 years.
Yeah, and I guess he doesn't trail a lot at 5 minutes.
My gosh, that's a terrible record.
So SEC, man. More game. They're trying something on the SEC network tonight, by the way. They're trying a triple header on the SEC network. 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock tips.
Where's the 9 o'clock tip?
9 o'clock tip is Oklahoma, Texas.
So it's a 9 Central tip, huh?
Yeah.
Boy, that is late.
Oh, boy, it is.
7 o'clock is the Georgia-Tennessee game, and then Vandy gets the test market for the 5 o'clock Central in Nashville afternoon tip.
I honestly, I would rather have a 5 o'clock tip than a 9 o'clock tip.
Oh, I had to.
Yeah, I'll find a way to tap out with the ball early.
I'll tell you, you
Go
can't.
to the bathroom.
It is hard to find. If it's not a 7 o'clock tip on a weeknight, you'll find a patch of Alabama fans that'll gripe about the tip time. 6 o'clock's too early, 8 o'clock's too late. It's got to be a sweet 7 o'clock.
Well, there's not many 7 o'clock tips.
Yeah.
It's SEC Network.
Oh, there's not.
Really
There's not.
You're not going to get that.
Yeah. Last night, I mean, it was 12 minutes before tip, and there was very few people in the arena. And EG is like, I thought it'd be more packed than this. I said, it's sold out.
Yeah.
I said, it'll be full. I said, for some reason, 6 o'clock, Alabama fans struggle to get here. And somebody was standing next to me, and they're like, and they gripe, 8 o'clock is too late.
Yeah, I got to hit that sweet spot.
Yeah, 7 o'clock's the non-existent sweet spot usually. All right, when we come back, football, big change in college football proposed by the coaches. We'll see where it goes. If you're not aware, the Football Coaches Association meeting right now. They're doing another day of meetings today, but this will be discussed today. The committee put it together yesterday, and all the coaches will decide today whether or not they recommend it or not, what that is when we come back on the next round.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out TheBarnAuburn.com and CoverCrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to Fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
All right, before we get to the college football news, I wanted to bring up a number that I think is going to continue on us down a road where we're going to eventually be streaming all of our sports.
Okay.
And who was it? Was it Clay?
Was Clay last week.
Yeah.
He said it numerous times.
Yeah. 22.7 million people watched Pittsburgh and Baltimore streamed on Amazon.
Well, I'll tell you, they're making it easier based on this. And I guess it depends on if you watch the NFL, you watch football, it's going to pop up. But the first thing that popped up on my TV was, Amazon, watch right here. So you don't really have to go around and try to navigate it to find it.
But, I think all three of us already stream all of our sports.
Oh, we do on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right, YouTube TV.
Yeah. I just don't, it's...
I think, but... You tell me if it feels different, though, if I have to, like today, I'm a soccer guy.
Okay.
I'm not really a soccer guy. I pretend to be a soccer guy for my nephew, Carson, who's a big soccer kid. All right. He's a big Arsenal fan. I adopted Tottenham years ago because
the Hotspur,
they sucked and they had a cool logo.
Mm-hmm.
And today Arsenal plays Tottenham. Doesn't bother me at 2:00 that I've got to watch that on Peacock so I can either talk smack to him or get ready for him to text me from school that Arsenal beat Tottenham again, right? It's soccer. So, but if we get to the point where college football, basketball, or NFL or whatever, okay, I got to go to not on YouTube TV where I can bounce around my channels.
That's the big things. You got to exit one and open another.
Okay, now I've got to go. Okay, I'm gonna watch this game. Okay, I can go to Amazon. Okay, for this game I got to go to Peacock. Oh, for this game I got to go to Paramount, great hot dog.
Yeah.
If I got to start bouncing around to different one, Apple TV to watch this game.
Yeah, to bounce back and forth is what makes it different. Now, if we could ever have the invention, and I don't know what stands in the way of this.
Usually money.
Yeah, I don't know, but if
you're talking about this basically to have all platforms on one
combined, if I could go buy, like I've got, say I buy a Roku TV, right? That's my platform, is the Roku platform, and Roku pulls all this stuff into one, where I might be watching ESPN on YouTube, but I could just click over and now I've got Peacock out.
Yeah,
that would be the game changer.
I don't know what the difference would be when you had. We'll use DirecTV because we all had it. DirecTV's got all of these different brands from
HBO
to Cinemax to ESPN News to whatever. So I don't know why you wouldn't be able to do that.
And if I had an HBO subscription, I could watch HBO. If I didn't Showtime, that was just a blank channel for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know what stands in the way of that. Maybe that's the next step technologically, because streaming sports does not bother me one bit. The thing that bothers me is if it's on different platforms and I've got to back out of YouTube TV, I've got to then go open Amazon and watch it.
Why is my login not still logged in?
That's what drives me crazy. It's like ESPN
that is bad.
Will just randomly log me out, and I can't find a rhyme or reason for it. And I
think it's 2 weeks regardless. No, there's nothing
it 2 weeks?
I think it's 2 weeks, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Like, even if I log in every day for 2 weeks, they're still going to log me out after 2 weeks, and I got to log back in.
So dumb.
From your last login.
That just makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that drives me. That's the one that does it more than any. Like Amazon, I never have to log back into that. Apple TV, Peacock, none of those. Every time I open it, it's there. It's ready. Hulu, I open it. It's
I have
there,
to
it's
log
ready
back
go.
in if I haven't used it in 9 months.
ESPN's the one that logs me out more than any of them.
Yeah, insanity. Dr. B is not insane though. This guy is going to absolutely. I don't think we talk about this enough because we're a sports show. But, sometimes postpartum or whatever, women could start thinning in the hair. Dr. B can take care of all hair loss. He can work with you. And I know these guys have done it with great success. But whatever you're going through with hair loss, Dr. B can help.
Yeah, I mean, look, somebody said something to me yesterday, man, the hair really looks a lot thicker than it was, and it has doubled in thickness since I started these treatments. Brown's doing the exact same treatment. Look, if you're thinning out, be preemptive. Get on it. 205-319-0316. Dr. Beckenstein, best of the business. For 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today, 205-319-0316. Again, I do the non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. Hair has doubled in thickness. For more information, you can always go online, t3hair.net.
Brian on Twitter at Next Round Live tells us DirecTV Stream, which was that's the service I had before I went to YouTube TV. DirecTV Stream puts every channel in your lineup. It still has to open, but you never have to leave the platform.
Yeah,
that's all I'm asking for.
Yeah, that's all I'm asking for.
My TV, my smart TV does that. I have an icon. It has YouTube TV, it has Apple TV, da-da-da-da. It's all right there, and I just shuttle through which one I want to click on. But I click on it, and then it's
But what he's saying is it's in your channel lineup with DirecTV Stream.
Okay.
So Peacock would be a quote-unquote channel.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking for, so I don't have to back out of YouTube TV, click over to Amazon, and open it.
It was the only thing that's probably going to keep you from switching back right now is the quad box.
Do you think somewhere in rural India they're having this same discussion?
Nope.
They're talking cricket.
I'm trying to watch 4 cricket games at one time.
Yeah, I cannot believe he just got a $400 million deal.
This streaming sucks, guys. I'm back in my hut trying to watch the soccer games.
Tony, don't call me by my own phone name.
Yeah,
I only tell the Americans.
Sorry, Ramad.
YouTube TV does have everything pretty much lined up,
it's
but
good.
I do miss DirecTV just because of just the familiarity, able to navigate, jump around, knew the channels.
College football coaches are together in Charlotte, and they came up with something in committee yesterday that, according to Ross Dellinger, they will bring to all the coaches today, and that is fake injuries. And the coaches, not unanimously, of course. I mean, I don't know anybody's going to stand up. I am for fake injuries.
If anybody would be Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, but fake injuries came up, and they want to come up with a way to solve the problems of fake injuries in college football. And here's what the committee is proposing, and they will bring it to all the coaches today. Now, they don't pass the rules. The coaches don't, but they would recommend it to the rules committee, and then usually, if all the coaches are behind it, the rules committee, it could be in place by next season. An injured player, any injured player, so fake injury, nobody's making a determination that it's a fake injury or not. Player is injured, has to leave the game for the rest of the drive.
Now, this is only if the clock is stopped for the play is stopped for the injury, right?
The play is stopped for the injury.
Right.
Has to leave the field for the rest of that particular drive, and the only way you can reinstate a player is to use a timeout.
Oh, I like
what do you
this.
think?
Yeah, I got this.
I mean, this is the most reasonable solution. A lot of people have brought this up.
I think we've talked about it before. What makes the most sense is somebody has to leave for the entirety of the drive.
Yeah. Now,
and there's nobody sitting there having to decide, okay, that's a fake injury. We've sort of we've gone to replay now, and all of a sudden a guy walking down the field and he's falls down.
Well, by the way, I don't know if you noticed
you don't
this,
have to have that now.
But when you have the guy fall down, it's always in plus territory. He's always in the red zone.
Yeah.
You
never have him pinned down.
So
right?
my point there was going to be the drives aren't going to be much longer anyway.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, when you get the other team pinned down, oddly they don't have these types of injuries, do they?
I mean, this sounds fine, except at quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets hit hard, but now you can use a timeout.
You can, but you only got 3 of those.
I know, but if he gets hit hard, he's down, and we've seen this happen. These are not fake injuries. Quarterback gets hit hard, breath gets knocked out of him. They have to stop the game. He gets on the sideline 2 plays later. He's ready to go. Not Jarrett Stidham. Jeez, that's old.
I don't even know where you're going.
Peyton Thorne was where I was going. I don't know why I said Jarrett Stidham, former Auburn quarterback, obviously. But Peyton Thorne, it happened to him this year in the Missouri game. You remember that? Yeah. We talked to him when he was on with us that next Tuesday. It was one of the hardest hits we had seen on a quarterback, and he missed 1 play. And he said, really, I know it was a hard hit. It just knocked the wind out of me.
Couldn't catch my breath.
I couldn't catch my breath and call the next play. So they had to stop the game and take him out. He'd have been out the rest of the drive. Now, a lot of Auburn fans have been like, I'm fine with that. But, I mean, that just shows you, though, A quarterback, a lot of times, if he just gets hit hard enough, he only needs a play or two on the sidelines to get his wits about him.
Yeah. I mean, you just think about the throwing motion that hits that thumb.
Yeah.
Okay, for a second, okay, I can't feel my thumb. Okay, I got to walk off. I'm off the field. 2 plays later, okay, I can go back in now. I've got that feeling.
You know, when your quarterback is the one that gets hurt, a lot of times you're telling him, stay down. If you're going to have to leave the game, for sure, stay down, because I need to get my back up. He needs to take some of those snaps from the center.
Great point.
And he's got to loosen that arm up.
That's
so
a great point.
If my quarterback's getting hurt and I'm like, you got to rush off the field, my guy's got to scramble, get his helmet on. I mean, he may be the guy signaling in the plays, you know. I mean, you're probably going to have to use a timeout if it's the quarterback.
Yeah, I do think that the only problem would be the quarterback, though. Or the only complicated.
Would you guys be okay with putting a sub little asterisk and saying all players other than the quarterback?
I don't have a problem because, I mean, how often is the quarterback really going to fake an injury?
He's never going to.
He's never the fake injury
Yeah, I mean, we've
guy.
never seen it, right?
Yeah.
So,
because even the fake injury guy has come out for one play.
That's right. I mean, there's not a coach that's willing to run an important play without the quarterback.
Well,
and the vast majority of these fake injuries
defense.
come on defense. Yeah,
it's all defense, really.
They're slowing the play down.
Yep.
I've seen it on offense. Like we saw it with Lane Kiffin this year where Jackson Dart told, I can't remember the running back's name.
Get down.
Yeah, you saw him do like that, and the running back, falls.
Yeah.
I mean, it was super obvious. Yeah, it was super obvious.
Like, shoe off. I mean, that's a shoe off. That's not an injury. You're not faking an injury. Now, sometimes they sit down because they can't get their shoe back on.
Mm-hmm. You can't anymore.
Well, did you see the other night Matt Stafford trying to put Kyron Williams' shoe on?
Yeah.
And then the play clock got to like 9, and that's when Collinsworth was like, you better watch that play clock.
Yeah.
Play clock.
Yeah. More of that coming up in trash.
I don't know that I don't know this is a bad rule because, like Lance said, the vast majority of these fake injuries are happening once a team's on the move, so that drive's probably going to be pretty short at that point.
Yeah.
Now, policing this, I mean, we're counting on officials to keep up with a lot of things, and now the official has to remember we stopped the clock for number 10, and if DJ Durkin or Kane Womack or Pete Golding or any defensive coordinator tries to sneak 10 back in there.
Yeah, that's a penalty.
Well, it will be if it's called. That's what I'm saying. You're asking the officials to keep up with a lot of things already.
Yeah, I'm counting on 31 analysts in the booth with binoculars screaming down to the head coach that they put 10 back in. They can't put 10 back in.
Would you let me challenge that? Would that be challengeable for you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can challenge 12 on the field.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I think it should be challengeable. Like, if they put 10 back in, I can challenge. No. He went out on the third play of this drive.
That's illegal participation.
Yeah.
I'm not going to mark it off as a 5. That's got to be a 15.
Hey, by the way, how can you not challenge a up back throwing somebody into a punter? Or an up back being thrown into a punter?
Yeah, can you challenge that?
No.
Yeah.
It happened Monday night with the Rams game.
Yeah. There are situations I think you should be able to challenge that kind of stuff too.
Was it Monday night or was it Sunday night?
I can't remember. I don't remember the play.
But yeah, somebody got thrown into the punter.
One more thing to get to, top of the hour, Matt Mosley with us at 10:30. A couple more college football things after we tell you about our great sponsors, like our friends at Odie's. I don't have a calendar in front of me. What day is it?
Oh, I think it's the day for
it. Is. Are you going to be there tonight?
I am going to be there tonight.
Okay, so me and Brown and Will Haver, Odie's Team Trivia. We do it every Wednesday night at the original location, the OG. That is the Crestline location. Get there a little early. 8 o'clock we'll start up. But you can get some of the great food from Rodney Davis. I'm looking at it right now. Those fries with the cheese and bacon on them, little ranch on the side. Taylor Korn, who is our ranch aficionado, says that Odie's has some of the best ranch out there. Great burgers, wings, sandwiches like the Diablo sandwich, corn dogs, chili, all that great food from Rodney Davis. 2 locations. The one we'll be at tonight, the original in Crestline. Newest location in Edgewood. Ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Birmingham Institution. It's Odie's Tavern.
And also our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Shout out to Austin, who was at the Bama game last night afterwards as I was waiting to start the postgame show. He yelled down and said, "Dunaway!" I turned around, and he was like, "I've lost 33 pounds on Way to Wellness." And he's been listening to us.
33, he said?
33 pounds. And he's been listening to us since our radio days when he said he started listening to us as he was graduating high school.
Wow.
He's now in 30, I think he said, in his early 30s. Austin's his name. And I was really happy that he got the name of mine in Little T's post-game show right. He goes, I'm about to run out of the parking lot and watch the basketball show. It's a very creative name. But 33 pounds, he says Leslie's fantastic. And Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living, a planforme.com. So shout out Austin for what's happening in his life. Planforme.com. Probably wanted to crush a little Waffle House last night after the way he watched Alabama play. No contracts, no sign-up fees. Your first consultation is free. Meal replacement, injection therapy, everything to help you lose weight. Also, blood pressure, cholesterol can all be helped with you. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. All right, we're one game left in this college football season. Coming up Monday night, Ohio State, the big favorite against Notre Dame for the title. But the folks who cover college football at CBS Sports put together a dark horse in each Power 4 conference for 2025. I assume none of you jumped deep into the CBS Sports.com college football today.
I haven't seen it.
So I'm going to throw out the conference.
Okay.
You tell me who the sexy dark horse pick is going to be for that conference.
Okay.
And I am betting a ice-cold Coke product with each of you that you do not get the SEC one right.
Okay.
We'll start with the Big Ten.
Big Ten, because you brought up Illinois, and I think they are going to be looking for another Indiana.
When did I bring up Illinois?
You brought them up that they could be the next Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, look, they finished the season at 10-3.
That
They
just
were
tells you Illinois was the correct
in the top
answer.
20.
Yeah,
with 21 returning starters and Luke Altmaier coming back at quarterback. And I think you've got an accomplished coach, or at least to a level, in Brett Bielema. So Illinois is going to be your answer.
Illinois is your ansser there, yeah.
You ever wonder why I don't win poker?
I was thinking the same thing.
Right here.
Yes.
It's Illinois. Tom Fornelli writes that part of it. I'll take the homer route here and ask, why not Illinois? 10-3 last season, Altmaier back, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Not win the conference, but they could be the Indiana of the conference.
This is to make the college football playoffs.
Okay, all right.
Of course, to make the playoffs.
There you go.
Big 12.
Big 12.
It's a tough one, man. It was. I mean, there were no dark horses this year. There were just a bunch of horses. Everybody was the same.
I think two teams are going to be a lot better. I think Baylor and Cincinnati.
You know, I was about to say Baylor too, Lance. Who did they get in the quarterback?
Well, Sawyer Robertson is going to be coming back, and he was really good.
I thought they got somebody else. Maybe I was wrong. I'll go Baylor.
It is Texas Tech. They return a fourth-year starter at quarterback, 3 starting offensive linemen, a pair of impact wide receivers, new defensive coordinator who's brought in some transfers, top 30 recruiting class. They don't play a Power 4 opponent out of conference. Chris Hummer writes that for CBS and says Texas Tech is the dark horse there to keep an eye on. The ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference.
This is going to be really Syracuse wouldn't be a dark horse because they were well, Kyle McCord's not coming back.
No,
he's not. He has declared for the NFL draft.
I am going to go Boston College.
Ooh, I like Boston College. That is a good guess. It is not the one that CBS Sports has come up with. This writing is from Chip Patterson.
They can't say Manny Diaz and Duke. I just don't see it.
Well, I mean, Duke's upgrading at quarterback, and they already a 9-win team. They should have knocked SMU out of the playoff. I will go with Duke.
It is the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets with both Haynes King and Aaron Philo back. Good at quarterback, says Chris Hummer. Finished tied for 4th place in the ACC standings. They lost some notable talent to the portal for sure, but Georgia Tech is a sleeper that can challenge Clemson, Miami, and other ACC teams, according to Chip Patterson. And then there's the SEC, the Southeastern Conference. Cameron Salerno writes it for CBS Sports. Who is the dark horse? And this is the one that I've got an ice-cold Coca-Cola product or Budweiser product, Adams Beverage product, if you choose.
I don't know if Florida.
Do not think you guys can get it.
I don't know if Florida would be considered in the dark horse category.
I think they would. Coming off an 8-5.
Coming off an 8-5.
This is to make the college football playoffs.
Yeah.
So.
Florida is a name brand. I think everybody thinks they're going to be improved.
By the way, I'm going to say I disagree with this answer.
You do?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of people.
I'm going to go randomly. South Carolina is going to be a sexy pick.
They're not even a dark horse, yeah.
I think Auburn might be a sexy pick with Jackson Arnold now. I am going to say that it is going to be the Arkansas Razorbacks with Taylor Green coming back and Bobby Petrino. Year 2 of calling that offense.
That is a good call. I'm going through each team in my mind. I'm looking for somebody that obviously upgraded, and I think I'm going to stick with Florida. How good? Well, I know how good you think.
It's going to be very random based on what Dunaway said.
I know.
Oh, it is.
You think John Mateer is going to be really good?
I do, yeah.
I'll stick with Florida, but I don't know.
You should have swayed right there. John Mateer and the Oklahoma Sooners. I hate calling multiple-time playoff format Oklahoma a dark horse, but after 6-7 and Brent Venables 22-17, this team is shaping up with transfer quarterback John Mateer. It's the era of transfer quarterbacks leading to the playoffs. Ben Arbuckle will do great things for the offensive side of the ball. He says, give me the Sooners as a dark horse to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I would have still gone Florida, even if Lance had told me he thinks John Mateer is going to win the Heisman.
I don't trust Venables enough, especially in the SEC. 10 wins his final year in the Big 12. I think Mateer is going to be good. I don't know if Mateer is going to be good enough.
And we know they get Alabama in Tuscaloosa. Texas is always neutral site. I mean, what's Oklahoma looking like? Trying to remember their
they
SEC
had the tough schedule.
Yeah, their SEC schedule was here it is. Was balls to the wall. They also play Michigan out of conference home game, but they get Auburn at home. They are neutral site with Texas, on the road at South Carolina, home to Ole Miss, on the road at Tennessee, on the road at Alabama, home to Missouri, and home to LSU.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I'll point out, though, they don't have to play a legitimate road game until the middle of October. I mean, their only road game before that is at Temple, which they should destroy Temple.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have to play a road game until mid-October.
Yeah. So all that is, though, Brown, is road games at South Carolina, at Tennessee, at Alabama.
No, it gets real after that.
Yeah. Well, so you guys tell me how much have they upgraded the offensive line?
That was the problem, right?
Yeah.
But Jackson Arnold's going to get behind the offensive line and think it's the Great Wall down at Auburn.
I mean, they gave up 50 sacks this year.
Whew. Hard to do with a fairly mobile quarterback.
I know
two of them.
I know it's South Carolina, Tennessee, and Alabama, but that's just 3 SEC road games. That's as far as road and home, it's a pretty favorable schedule.
Because of that neutral site, they'll always have that weird number of home and road games. That is at cbssports.com if you want to read more of that. New hour coming up. Show being brought to you today by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Guys, stay on top of your health. 16 great locations, treating all your urological needs from prostate health to kidney stones, vasectomies, and anything else you need. Call that number, 205-930-0920 to get your appointment today, or visit urologycentersalabama.com to find a location near you. That's urologycentersalabama.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wheels, January 31st through February 2nd at the BJCC with customs, classics, hot rods, and more. Check out the exotic lineup in the Supercar South Hall, sponsored by Mob Inc. And don't miss the BMX stunt team performing outrageous stunts live. Friday only, meet All Elite wrestler Christian Cage. Saturday, it's Bill Carlton from Texas Metal. And Sunday, meet Oscar from The Office. Bring the kids for free Hot Wheels racing, costume characters, rides, and more. Get discount tickets at all O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Details at worldofwheels.net.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, we roll on hour number 2 here as we look to get to 4 downs here in this segment, Tyler. Matt Mosley in the next segment to talk about Deion Sanders. Shedeur was at a Mavericks game last night, I think.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Well, it only fuels the fire, doesn't it?
Let me ask you guys this. If it wasn't Deion's kid, and I think he's really good, and I think
he is good.
Me and Brown, I think we're saying it after week 1 against North Dakota State, like, this is probably the best quarterback in college football, and a lot of people were giving us shit for that.
I think he was at one point. I don't know that he finished. I mean,
it's him or Cam Ward.
Yeah.
But it just feels like if he was Shedeur Smith, would he be on the big screen in a Mavericks game?
Probably not.
Yeah.
But it's a Cowboys town. Even in a Mavericks game, it's a Cowboys town. And if one of the top, who else?
Do you think Cowboys fans?
If Cam Ward was sitting there last night, you think they would have put it on there?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I don't know how recognizable he is. Like, I couldn't pick Cam Ward out of a.
Let me ask you guys this:
but if they just put Cam Ward. NFL prospect Cam Ward, they even titled him and put him up on the big screen last night.
Yeah, people would have cheered.
Yeah.
Look, Dak is knocked because he hasn't done it in the postseason, and legitimately, it's hard for him to stay healthy. But if you were to ask, like, knowledgeable Cowboys fans, we will give you Deion and Shedeur for Dak right now. Do you think they would take that combo? You need a head coach.
I think they would.
It's like if Sean McVay decided to retire, I would not want Deion Sanders as my head coach.
I think they would. And if I was...
if Sean McVay and Matt Stafford retired, would you want Deion and Shedeur?
No.
Okay. In Dallas, you think...
In Dallas, I think that if I was smart, I would write some television series. We could call it even Dallas, and have a bunch of oil tycoons and Shedeur and Deion and Jerry Jones. I never did.
I did. I loved it.
Yeah, I liked Dallas.
Yeah, and if they would have done Dallas like in today, like that, I guess they're trying to kind of do it with Landman, right?
I guess so, but it misses the mark.
Yeah.
It was. My parents wouldn't let me watch it, so I think I caught it in syndication later. Apparently, it was too saucy for me as a kid in Calhoun County.
Boy, they would not have let you watch Landman.
No, it's a different world now. But I went back and watched Dallas later. I actually very much liked Dallas.
And let me just bring this up about Landman real quick, because everybody's just like, my ex is like, I watched the entire series this weekend. It's one of the best I've ever seen. And I'm like, I don't know how people are getting this excited. Like Billy Bob is incredible.
The ex? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm talking about Bethany watched the entire thing this weekend.
Yeah. Now her and I are closer to taste of things than you and her, probably.
But here's my first of all, I don't know what kind of women Taylor Sheridan has dealt with in his life, but from Beth Dutton to these two, the mother-daughter combo that you get on Landman. But realistically, is there any, and I cannot believe it's a high school girl that we're talking about. Now, she's like 25 in real life. But do you think there's really a high school girl that would talk like that to her dad and mom?
I don't think so. Maybe we live a little more sheltered than we realize we do.
There is no way. There's no way.
I can't imagine from some of the...
I think that's why it's TV.
No, but I mean, I think that's the great thing about the golden age of TV is you get some like realistic scenarios.
Yeah.
Like guys that are like connected to the mob said The Sopranos is the most realistic.
So much so that a mob boss got involved. Like, I think it was season one, when Tony was out by the pool in shorts and some mob boss called, is it David Chase?
Yeah.
Is that right? Called David Chase, is like, hey, a mob boss would never wear shorts. And then Tony didn't do it again, right? So, like, I mean, I think the mob thought that show was realistic enough that they were like, that's the one thing you missed.
Yeah, so I think
don't make us look bad.
Yeah.
Like, I think that obviously there's a lot of that are super sensationalized, like Yellowstone and like most of Taylor Sheridan's, but I just can't imagine a 17 or 18-year-old girl talking like that to her parents.
Yeah, I'm with sexually. You on that.
Yeah. It is, but I watched Lost.
It's still entertaining.
It had an evil black smoke going around the island. So
but that was a supernatural, like, you suspend reality. This show could be so good because
some of the things she wants to do is supernatural.
that business, though, the oil business, and how it affects every one of us on a day-to-day. Like, there is something fascinating about, like, learning the ins and outs and, like, how corrupt and some of the links they will go through to get things done.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, before we get to four downs, a couple of other things I want to get to in this segment. Including ESPN writing a story about every SEC starter. They're projecting every SEC starter at quarterback, and this gets interesting to me because of there's a couple of places I think we're all still wondering who the quarterback's going to be. After Brownie tells us about our friends at JohnstonRVCenter.com.
I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. As Dunaway said, JohnstonRVCenter.com. 2025 means 2024's got to get out of here, so you're going to get great deals like the Shasta 16RE. Just $149 a month. It's lightweight. If you want something that's bigger, the Avenger 29 QBS is just $279 a month, both those with approved credit. They love the military. There at Johnston RV, the way we do on this show, any active duty or veterans, you're going to get a great discount at Johnston RV Center. See more, JohnstonRVCenter.com.
I feel good about 10. Now, you got to remind me who Kentucky, Mississippi State got, because I'm losing my brain on those two. Right. Did they get anybody in the portal?
I'll find it.
Did they get anybody in the portal?
Because I feel like I can, outside of those two, if you told me who the portal guys are, but I can tell you 10 for sure starters.
Let's just run through them, and you call them out, and I'll tell you whether you got them right. This is projected by David Hale, ESPN. In fact, if you want to go read the story, ESPN.com, he does all Power 4 conferences. In Tuscaloosa, the projection is
Ty Simpson.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't going to be one of the 10 that I was going to give you, but Ty Simpson's got to be the projection. But, if reports are true that they were potentially tracking down a portal quarterback.
Well, I mean, and that's the report today by Matt Hayes, who's been on the show. Don't know why I blinked on his name. With USA Today, is that when Carson Beck hit the portal, Georgia was the first team to reach out to him and say, hey, let's think this back through again. The second team to reach out to Carson Beck was Alabama, according to Matt Hayes. And Beck chose Miami.
So Beck doesn't care about winning the championship. It's all about money.
And a girl.
Well,
Okay.
I don't know if you guys know this. I've been to Athens a lot. I spent 6 years of my life in Tuscaloosa. There are a lot of women.
Well, there are. But he's chosen to date one that's in Miami, not in Athens.
The whipped part of him looks like he wants to be with that one. But even in the show you were talking about, Landman, her first boyfriend, the girl you were speaking of, was going to go play in Tuscaloosa. And the dad said, "Baby, that's a long way from Texas." And Daddy, they got airports in Tuscaloosa. So if he wanted
but
to,
I would tell her. I mean, obviously she's in charge. If he is giving up Georgia or Alabama to be a quarterback for Mario Cristobal, he doesn't care about a championship. I'd be like, hey, look, if you want to date, if you really want to be together all the time, you're coming to Athens or Tuscaloosa.
So you're telling me right now you do believe, despite the 9-4 season and the win total we talked about yesterday at 8.5 from FanDuel, that Alabama is closer to a championship than Miami is.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that, too.
I think Carson Beck, look, Ty Simpson sight unseen. Carson Beck would have been a better option, in my opinion. I know a lot of people will disagree with that.
And this is, in this state, a more difficult time to say this, maybe, but I think it will bear out that I am right. I will take Kalen DeBoer over Mario Cristobal every single day as a head coach.
Twice on Sunday.
Yes. Twice on Sunday, yes.
Keelan Russell's coming in. The writer, David Hale, makes a point that Eli Holstein was at Pitt, Julian Sands at Ohio State, Dylan Lonergan is now at Boston College, so there have been some exits there. At Arkansas,
Taylon Green,
got the incumbent there.
Yep.
The Auburn Tigers.
It's going to be Jackson Arnold.
It's going to be Jackson Arnold, despite Deuce Knight coming in. He's the biggest competition there.
That's one of the most excited quarterback situations I'm most excited about. I don't know about you guys.
To see if Arnold can live up to what his potential was supposed to be.
And can Hugh Freeze live up to his potential? I mean, seriously. They're going to work together on this.
There is a show, I never remember the name of it, that I watched 3 seasons in now, and it's about living up to your potential. And this is...
By the way, Hugh Freeze coming up in 4 downs.
Ooh.
Is it his birthday?
It is not.
Oh. We may get to that in this segment. Florida Gators.
DJ Lagway.
Easy.
David Hill's projection there. Georgia Bulldogs.
Gunnar Stockton.
It's got to be Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah.
You let Beck walk.
Now, I do think that Kirby would be open if he could get another quality quarterback in the portal.
Yeah, I just don't know who's going to be out there.
Here's the now one of the tricky ones. They did pick this guy up. It's a familiar name, but Kentucky.
Zach Calzada was the guy, by the way, that they got out of the portal.
You gave him the answer there. Zach
Calzada. He was asking earlier who they got out.
Even him giving me the answer, I don't feel good about saying Calzada is the quarterback. Of course, the production, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, all these guys you put out there for Kentucky is the same stuff.
That was the whole thing, like when Kendrick Law decided to go to Kentucky, I'm like, okay, you're unhappy at Alabama, but how as an offensive player do you look and choose Kentucky?
Yeah. Cutter Boley is the freshman last year, is going to challenge for the job. LSU is Nussmeier, who's coming back. Mississippi State. This is
one I asked you about.
It's another familiar name.
They got the kid from Florida State. I can't say his last name.
Yeah.
That's the kid that they got in the portal from Florida State.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think he's going to start. Van Buren went to?
It's so confusing.
Kromenhoek. Van Buren went to LSU, right? I think that's where Van Buren ended up. Was at LSU. I guess I'll go Florida State and Kromenhoek, the Florida State transfer.
They also got Blake Shapen from Baylor. Reuniting with Jeff Lebby, or has a relationship with Jeff Lebby. Blake Shapen is the projected starter. Missouri. This is a portal guy. Anybody remember who they got?
I forgot who portaled into Missouri.
Yeah,
I did too.
Big story as the college football playoffs were started. I'd love to keep playing with my team. But,
that's right. The backup from Penn State.
Bo Pribula.
Oh,
yeah. He's projected as a starter.
Kid's got a lot of confidence for a guy that didn't play much.
Yeah.
Their backup.
But he can move around a little bit, so Pribula is going to be the guy.
Their backup is Drew Pine there. Oklahoma, we just spoke about him last time. John Mateer is there. Ole Miss.
And I think John Mateer will get votes for second, third, all SEC. Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, the number one guy is going to be unanimous.
When we get to Nashville, or is it Atlanta?
It's Atlanta, yeah.
When we get to Atlanta in July, coming up for SEC Media Days. It'll get here before you know it, by the way.
Who was the last one you said?
Ole Miss is next.
Ole Miss is interesting. I don't know.
Well, the kid that came in, I cannot say his name right now, but when in the Georgia game, when Dart got hurt, the backup came in and led them on a scoring drive. What is his name? Why can I not say his name?
Went right down.
Yeah, and looked really good doing it to the point that everybody's like, if Dart's a little banged up, I might stick with this kid.
Yeah. Oh, let's play a game. I'll say two things that'll give you the clue to his first and last name.
Okay.
Favorite Texas city and last name 70s, early 80s workout television icon.
Fort Worth, Austin. I went with Fort Worth and Denise Austin.
Something Simmons, right?
Something Simmons.
Fort Worth Simmons.
Austin Simmons.
San Antonio Simmons.
Austin Simmons. South Carolina's Lenore Sellers.
Yeah, and he's going to be the first team unanimous, maybe first team All-American quarterback.
Tennessee's Nico.
Yep.
Texas is Arch. A&M is Marcel Reed. And Vandy is Diego Pavia.
I do believe Texas is going to be Arch. Today is the deadline for Quinn Ewers. This is the hard deadline for anybody that is not on the roster at Notre Dame or Ohio State to declare for the draft. So we'll know today whether or not Ewers is in the draft.
Don't do it.
Yeah, sometimes, Brownie, paperwork filed today before the deadline. We don't find out until tomorrow.
Yeah. So it could be, the next 48 hours.
Let's say that
anybody that's in the championship game has one more week, I think, after that game is played.
If Alabama fans, just because we did this earlier in the segment with Shedeur and Deion going for Dak, if Alabama fans heard today that Quinn Ewers was coming to Tuscaloosa,
okay,
and you also had Ryan Grubb coming to Tuscaloosa, same day, would Alabama fans be excited?
I think you would, because I think that would indicate, number one, they would be excited about the Grubb news, but I think it would also indicate that Grubb has looked at Ewers and said, that's a guy I can win with.
Yeah.
So I think you would be excited. You're almost getting that as a package deal.
I don't think DeBoer and Sheraton has looked at the people in the room and said, we need somebody.
Yeah, and I don't think you would bring in Ewers and Grubb without Grubb signing off on that.
And look, Grubb and Kalen DeBoer know Ewers extremely well. Didn't see him this year, but remember in the semifinals last year they did.
I do want to get to our four downs here, brought to you by our friends at Slice. Great locations. I had a dream last night, and I knew it was a dream because I bought 7 pizzas and brought up everybody for lunch, so Tyler didn't have to get it. And I
would
never.
It be nice if Jim did that?
I never do that, but in my dream, I was struggling to figure out what pizzas everybody wanted. I went with 2 spicy Hawaiian, 2 pepperoni. I did 2 of the
Super
one with
cheese?
the white sauce, the barbecue. Is it white barbecue? It's a smoked chicken.
The White Shadow.
Yeah. And then I did 2 of the meat lovers and 1 cheese. So I did wrong.
See, what I would do, just to make it simple, is the super cheese and the perfect pepperoni. You just do those and you're fine.
Just to do that.
Yeah. 5 locations: the original Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, newest location in Edgewood. Get in to see the Bajaria Brothers, local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, you can always go online, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
What happens first? Nate Oats back to a Final Four, or Kalen DeBoer takes Alabama to a playoff?
I would go Alabama to a playoff. Kalen DeBoer and Alabama to a playoff. I mean, Alabama's made 1 Final Four in school history, and I think Nate Oats is an exceptional basketball coach, and we'll have them back there, but it's hard to believe that they've made 1 in school history and they're going to start just reeling them off like that.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
I'd go Alabama football playoff.
I would too, because it's the toughest sport to win a championship in college basketball.
Yeah.
And I think it is easier to get to a 12-team playoff than it is to a Final Four. I mean, not just numbers-based, just based on programs.
You're not even saying to the Final Four football. You're saying to the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
What makes it so crazy in basketball is, you could have a really, really good team, which I think Alabama still does. This is a tough day to say it. And run up against a matchup like you did last night in the NCAA tournament. Your season's over.
Right.
Yeah.
You could be better than everybody else in the tournament, but you just get a bad matchup like you did last night.
Or you could just be a really great team that has a really bad night against a team that comes out of a smaller league that has a good night.
That's what makes it so tough.
Second down.
It's hard for me not to say Yale right there.
Who gets a playoff win first, Justin Herbert or Lane Kiffin?
I think I'll go Lane Kiffin. Yeah, I mean, Harbaugh's going to have Herbert in the playoffs a lot, so he's eventually going to get a win. But I don't know what it is about that guy. He just cannot win in the postseason.
There are some NFL people that are saying the Chargers may draft quarterback.
I don't see it. He's been so good in the regular season. So they were up 27-0 on Jacksonville a couple of years ago. They blew that game. And they were up 6-0 against the Texans. I'm not going to say they blew that game. It was just a weird offensive performance, and he did look shell-shocked.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
But I still have got more confidence in Justin Herbert, his talent, than Lane Kiffin's coaching ability.
Yeah, but if Kiffin gets in, I mean, like if he got in this year and Ole Miss, say they were the last one in, I guess they would have ended up at Texas. But, I mean, if it had been Ole Miss at Penn State, that wouldn't have been a crazy upset.
Oh, no, not
I
at
could
all.
have easily seen that if that was the 6-11 game you had in round one.
Absolutely.
So who would you go?
I would go Ole Miss.
Okay.
Lane Kiffin.
Third down.
Who wins a playoff game next? Mike Tomlin or Hugh Freeze?
Well, Tomlin has told everybody that if you're putting together trade offers to Pittsburgh for me, don't waste your time. Almost like if I'm not coaching in Pittsburgh, I'm not going to coach.
Yeah, I'll be in the grave otherwise.
Yeah, Cowher did the same thing, though. You know, people kept asking, is Cowher going to be the next coach of the Panthers? Cowher going to be the next coach of this? He never came back when he left Pittsburgh. And you can see Tomlin, I guess, I've done it enough, I'm done.
I've done it enough, and I've done it from one of the best ownership families in all of sports.
Yeah, but
like anything's going to be a downgrade.
I do think Tomlin really wants to solidify his legacy, and now it is all negativity.
Yeah.
I mean, they do. It's a better problem to have than some of these terrible organizations out there. Like, you would much rather be a Pittsburgh fan than obviously a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, where every 4 or 5 years you can have a good season. But again, 8 coaches this past weekend, or not 8 coaches, I should say 6 coaches this past weekend won as many playoff games as Mike Tomlin has in the last 8 years.
Tomlin's one of those guys that, like, if Miami fired Mike McDaniel today, Tomlin would not be my first choice. But if they hired Tomlin, I'd be
okay
like,
with it.
I'm good with that. Yeah.
Hey, let me tell you a crazy number I ran across today. What? You know what? Matt Stafford, 22 games as the Rams quarterback in the months of December, January, and February. 22 games. What do you think his record is?
December, February, January?
Yep.
It would need to
rise. December, January, February?
Would need to rise up to a crazy number. So I'm going to say 17-5.
I'll go 18-4.
19-3.
Wow.
Well, that is good.
That's pretty good.
Dang.
That is good.
I just had to throw that up.
Fourth down.
And finally, 2 celebrity birthdays. Drew Brees, 46 years old today. Pitbull, 44. Better career.
Pitbull.
I would say Pitbull, but Drew Brees also has.
Had a good career.
He's also got Jimmy John's and he's got walk-ons.
Yeah. But and bringing that championship to that city and that franchise is huge.
But Pitbull's Mr. Worldwide.
He is, but
I can't believe they've never given up that channel on Sirius XM. Like, they rotate these channels on and off, but boy, Pitbull stays. I think it's channel 13.
I always go personal with this. I'm going to go Drew Brees.
Doesn't Pitbull have naming rights to a stadium now?
It is Florida International. I mean, it's not a big one. Or Florida Atlantic.
I'm going to lean Pitbull. I don't feel great about it, but I'm going to say Pitbull.
Yeah, I'll go Pitbull.
Forrester, will I read first of all, that was Slice, bringing you the 4 downs. Tell us about Slice.
Yeah, 5 great locations. Pick up a couple of pies on your way home tonight. Be the hero. Mom's been chasing the kids all day. Or just stop in for a slice and a salad. They've got a daily special every single day at those 5 locations. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
Tyler, would you please, on our the computer screen, if you will search Sports Illustrated cover Miracle on Ice and bring that cover up for me while I tell you about our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. That is Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg will get on your roof and give you a free no-cost roof inspection. Why is that important? It only takes one loose shingle that ends up causing water entry points and problems throughout your house. So don't let that happen. When's the last time you had your roof inspected? Let Greg from Pell City do it for free. 205-542-3531, 542-3531, or look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. And I say this all the time, insurance is tough, man, especially when it comes to replacing your roof. Greg can work with these guys and get the best possible deal from you, from them. And he's done it so much for so long, over 20 years. He knows what T to cross, I's to dot. I'll tell you, it helps you having a guy like Greg from Pell City in the process with you. 205-542-3531, family owned, Greg from Pell City there. All right. That cover there, one of the most iconic Sports Illustrated covers of all time, one of the best photos of all time, sports photos. Heinz Klutenmeyer died yesterday at the age of 82, and from the last century, that is considered to be one of the more iconic images of the last century.
I've got that Sports Illustrated. That is a cool photo, yeah.
I do too.
I remember where I watched that game. Was it not on time delay?
It was.
It was, yeah. It was a day game that ended up airing on ABC in prime time.
Yeah, I remember
great photo.
The little bitty Zenith TV I watched that game.
When we come back, Matt Mosley joins us. As Mosley would say, fellas, do you think that Jerry Jones is going to let a brighter star come into Arlington?
Can I bring up one thing? Do you guys like Dennis Leary? He is on the NFL Network right now.
I do.
Ambivalent on Dennis Leary.
I'm not a fan at all. But he has just.
I didn't read the room well.
No, it's fine.
No, I don't care one way or the other.
He has. It said on there, the graphic, and I don't know what the context is, but Dennis Leary, huge Patriots and Packers fan. You can't be a fan of two NFL teams.
Huge of two teams.
Yeah.
No,
you cannot.
It's impossible.
You think he dyes his hair? I'm only joking.
100%.
Back in a moment here on TNR.
Yeah, he is.
Go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wheels, January 31st through February 2nd at the PJCC. With customs, classics, hot rods, and more. Check out the exotic lineup in the Supercar South Hall. Sponsored by Mob Inc. And don't miss the BMX stunt team performing outrageous stunts live. Friday only, meet All Elite wrestler Christian Cage. Saturday, it's Bill Carlton from Texas Metal. And Sunday, meet Oscar from The Office. Bring the kids for free Hot Wheels racing, costume characters, rides, and more. Get discount tickets at all O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Details at worldofwheels.net.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Now, are we doing this next guy audio only, or are we going to get video?
No, it's video. It's video. We got some.
You should never meet your legend.
We got some breaking news as we go to Matt Mosley. Quinn Ewers has, in fact, declared for the draft. Today is the deadline. Yeah.
Quinn, don't do it.
No transfer portal. Pete Thamel reporting that his agent, Ron Slavin, has told ESPN.
It's a mistake. So does our next guest, who has the best hair in Texas? Is it
Matt Mosley?
Is it Matt Mosley or Chip Brown?
I think it's Matt Mosley. Matt, do you have the best hair in Texas?
Do you guys have me?
Yeah, we got you. We got you.
Oh, this is great. I've only been trying to test for the last 15 minutes, but nobody would respond. Chip Brown is one of the few 55-year-old men that's still rocking the perm. And if you don't think there's some color going in there, you have not taken a peek at Chip lately. I mean, he has got some of that foil in there when he goes to the barber. I don't know if they use that at the barber, but you know what I'm saying. But Chip's a great guy, great friend of mine, and we both came up at the Dallas Morning News together back when it was the greatest newspaper in the country, the greatest sports page.
You told an incredible story about you were was it you or Chip that reported the facelift?
That was Chip.
That was Chip.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was Chip.
Well, I was going to ask you about Jerry because I brought this up the other day on our show and another show, and the other show scoffed at me, but this Jerry Jones hire, do you feel like it's going to be the last of his lifetime?
No, I think there are fans that would root for that and would wish that and are ready for Jerry to step aside. And he was asked about that recently. And, of course, he scoffed at that. And if you saw his appearance on Landman, I mean, this guy has 20 years left. I mean, my goodness, the range he showed in there. I mean, he was better. They were like, he was so good, they decided to kill off John Hamm. I mean, it was just like John Hamm didn't even get a word in that scene. It was great. But no, Jerry is about 83, and I promise you he's going to be, who are some of these, like, who are the oldest guys ever? Ralph Wilson. Was that somebody? Was that like a Buffalo?
Yep,
I think he was Buffalo.
Bud Adams?
No, Bud didn't make it that long. I think Bud checked out about 20 years before he was actually in the grave. But Jerry, how would you ever know? Like because he's just when you think, well, Jerry may be kind of losing it a little bit, he snaps back in and he's kind of remarkable in some of the things he does. But no, I could see Jerry having 2 to 3 more coaches. And I literally think we'll still be meeting with him outside the locker room when he's 95 years old. I mean, he's just that guy. And I think, Al Davis had a really, rough ending. Jerry fancies himself, though. That's his hero. And that was kind of his mentor in the NFL. So whatever Al did, Jerry's going to do. And that's why some of the names I'm hearing, I think you sometimes, when you're looking at who Jerry's going to hire, you got to almost get back into Al Davis's mind and think, what would Al do? And that's sometimes helpful in dealing with what Jerry's going to do here.
Nobody in our audience or in this room, or you even, Mosley, is old enough to get this reference. Can you just sing a phrase for me? Smoky Mountain Rain. Can you just knock that out real quick for me? It's a great look you have going.
Smoky Mountain Rain, keep on. Yeah, I mean, I can do
is that Ronnie Milsap?
The one I get is
if you know, you know,
Roy
man.
Orbison.
Yeah.
But the truth is, man, I had a rough night. Not like a Lance night, or an Ian night, but like a Mosley night. Just staying up, covering basketball. In up to like 3 or 4 in the morning.
That was a late tip. Late tip.
There's some, you don't, and again, I hope most people miss that because this is Scott Drew's, he's never had a team this lost And I know people are upset that Alabama didn't come out and play, and Nate Oats is mad, and Ole Miss came in there and popped you with Chris Beard. But, man, the Baylor Nation right now is struggling. So that's a little bit why I have these sunglasses on.
And can I also ask you, the guy who does football, the football analyst on the Baylor radio network, it's not you using a different name, right? Or maybe he's it's on SMU. It's SMU. The SMU analyst. That guy has a voice, and I was riding around listening to SMU in the playoffs on Sirius XM, and I was like, is Mosley using a fake name and getting another W-9?
Yeah, I get that sometimes. And randomly people will say, are you doing SMU? And I'm like, no, I'm not. I think his name is like Scott Garner. I like that guy. I can't remember exactly what his name is, but like I do get that every once in a while. Most people that try to imitate me end up doing like a Jimmy Stewart. Like that's usually what they're trying to do to get me. But yeah, that guy, I hear what you're saying on that. And SMU, how about SMU? What up?
Hey, I'm sorry I brought no sports questions for you. It was observation comedy for me this morning.
I'd like to ask him about Deion, but you guys go ahead.
I just want to ask before I forget. So Baylor opens at home next year, I should say, with the Auburn Tigers. And I brought this up. Like, I think Baylor's going to be a really good team next year. Am I off on this? Like, that's a dangerous game for Auburn.
Well, Baylor will arguably have, and I know Sam Leavitt, and he deserves a lot of praise, and Arizona State, deservedly so. Dillingham's, I think, is a great up-and-coming coach. But for my money, Sawyer Robertson will come back as he was the number 5 in QBR in the country. I mean, in the last 6-7 games, Lance knows this because he was actually looking at some of these lines and everything. Like, he was unreal. So they come back with arguably the best quarterback and the best running back in the Big 12 in Bryson Washington, who will be a redshirt sophomore next year. So, they're going to be pretty good. And of course, they took Auburn's, I don't know, with Walker White. I know Auburn people are like good riddance, so that's fine. But that's an interesting transfer because he was someone Baylor coveted, and I'm sure at some point Auburn people were excited to have. And he obviously is not going to come in and play unless Sawyer Robertson gets hurt. But he adds to an interesting quarterback room. So, I think, and that'll be fun. That'll be a fun matchup. Baylor opens with Auburn, and it seemed like Auburn had a good NIL, good recruiting session class. And then Baylor plays SMU at SMU week 2. So the Bears are going to hit the ground running, and it'll be interesting. It's not a bad. I think they'll be in your top when y'all do that preview where you do like the top 100 teams and y'all start like tomorrow. I think the Bears need to be on it. I don't know who y'all use this year. I did not get the call, so I hope to be back in the mix when you guys do get to Baylor.
I mean, we only did a top 40 this year.
Yeah, we did top 40.
So Baylor didn't quite make it.
Did not get voted in. Just missed.
Hey, did you just buy that dresser behind you?
We're good.
Do you still have a price tag on the orange drawer?
No, that's where he keeps his tea.
What's happening?
Left shoulder.
Over your left shoulder, there's a tag hanging on that orange drawer.
It may be a red, or as your state of mind is right now, purple.
No, your left shoulder.
How many microphones do you have?
I have on my shirt.
No, that drawer. I don't know why.
The one with the
There's
tag.
a tag back there. The orange top drawer that pulls out.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. There's nothing on it. I don't really have any. I don't know what it is. I do want y'all to see. I don't know if it's working. Look, I got this tracking camera now.
Yeah, we noticed.
Yeah. And I invested heavily in this. It's kind of like a Insta 365.
It lets us see all the clutter in your office.
Yeah. I mean, this is like Joe Rogan would be jealous of this setup. Can you guys see all those credentials in the background?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a well-traveled man.
Uncomfortable to say this, but I think if you were a zoo exhibit, I would spend a lot of time, you and the chimpanzees. I would just sit there and watch you.
The Mosley cam. You also just leave this on for the rest of the show. People can just stare in and see what I'm up to.
You'd be surprised
what
people
do to me. Like when I was on Dallas radio, people used to say they wanted to do a Mosley ride along and just spend the whole day with me because nobody had a clue what I did, and it just infuriated Ian and any other co-host we ever had. because Galloway, who was the iconic Texan, this famous columnist, I would invariably show up 5 minutes before the show, and he would have been there cussing out Ian for like 3 hours. And this led to probably many reasons why Ian does not care for me. But I would stroll in about 10 minutes till airtime, and Galloway would like hug me. And he had just finished his dog cussing Ian for like 2 hours. We got nothing. You suck. And then Mosley strolls in. It's like, okay, now we can do a show.
Hey, very random here, Mosley. But Art Briles always looked like the meanest guy in the world. Was he an angry guy at all?
No, man. Art was like homespun, like crazy funny, like really, really like. At those Big 12 meetings, the media days and all that, like he was the guy with like the one-liners that would just kind of fly by people. And Art was funny because I think he'd go to the famous bar in Waco, George's, and no Baylor coach was comfortable like drinking in front of people, and they had a special cup for him. They'd hand him a little solo cup or whatever. That he could go in there and have a drink or whatever and just kind of have a part of the bar where he could hole up. But no, he was, again, that whole thing's a mess, what happened, but not angry. Like the ultimate players coach, the ultimate, like, even at age, whatever he was, 58 at the time or 60, he was in there lifting with the players and like doing huge weights. Like he was, I don't know. The huge what if is not only like what he would have done at Baylor, but Texas was poised to hire him away from Baylor, and they hired Charlie Strong instead. And that would have been fascinating to see what Art would have done at the University of Texas. Again, he
hell of a
nobody
coach.
Can duplicate what he did. Again, I don't want to come over old Mosley soft on, all this awful stuff that happened at Baylor. No, I was the one, screaming to fire everybody. But, he goes down as one of the great college coaches. It's unreal what he did at a horrific program. Horrible for years. And most people do get second chances. Hugh Freeze, he got put in timeout for a little bit, and they put him up there at Liberty, and they brought him back. Falwell brought him back. And Art, it's like he's too far gone. He can't come back from it.
I did want to ask you about Texas. Arch Manning, you're there at the epicenter. With that name, the pressure is going to be on him next year. How do you think this plays out for old Arch?
Well, it's a little bit scary right now because Golden, Bond, Heim, every single weapon is walking out the door. And
maybe Sark. Maybe
what's
Sark.
That?
Maybe Sarkisian too.
I don't think so. Jerry is on some kind of weird deal right now where he's just going to try to interview a bunch of people, and he's basically doing this performative type stuff. He's just doing a bit in his coaching search. So I'm not saying he wouldn't try to talk to Sark, but it would be sort of a back channel thing. I don't think Sark will do it. Like Matt Rule, for instance, when he was at Baylor, he made it extremely obvious that he wanted to be an NFL coach. Sark has coached in the NFL. I do not think is dying to get back. So yeah, I think it's an interesting name. And I think of all the college coaches, that would be the one Jerry would talk to. I do agree with that. But Arch is losing a ton of guys. Now, that said, they got plenty of 5 stars. They'll reload. They'll do well in the portal, and they already have, and he'll be okay. But, I think this is a be careful what you wish for moment, because I would say that Ewers goes down as one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks in the history of Texas football. And he back-to-back playoff appearances for a team that had been in the football wilderness since 2009. It wasn't like, they were close. They were awful. They fired Mack. and they wandered around for about 14 years. And now they got back. They're up there in that top 5 or 10 in the country, and Arch steps in, and he's going to do it with people that we don't know. And so the whole fan base has been dying to see him. And you know how these things are. They don't always. Sometimes when you're dying for a guy to leave, you've seen it at Alabama. You've seen it at Auburn. I mean, my gosh, we see it with Bo Nix. I mean, there's Auburn people that are still out there scratching their head. Wait, this is the same guy? This is our Bo Nix? People want the change and all of that, and it doesn't always work out. So I think Arch can help in the sense that he can move, but man, there's going to be some bumps along the way. This is not going to be smooth. And this excitement to be done with Ewers is really up. I think Texas people it'll take them about 5 to 10 years to appreciate what Ewers did there.
Matt Mosley is with us at Matt Mosley on social media, Doomsday Podcast. He and Ed Werder that covers the Cowboys. I never imagined asking this question 15 minutes into the interview, but Deion Sanders in Dallas you've kind of hinted at this. There's nothing real to this. This is all just performative art.
Yeah, the thing I've been saying is, and Jerry always does this, he talks to outside people. And I saw somebody report that Jerry's on some kind of solo mission right now. And so what he does is I used to be able to name everybody he would talk to. It would be Switzer. It would be Larry Lacewell. Sadly, Larry's gone. And there would be about a handful of people. It could even be like political people. You never knew who Jerry would call up. So the Deion thing is it's like fun for Deion, fun for Jerry, and he does love him. I mean, Jerry is a showman at heart. Deion was a born showman, one of the greatest showmen in the history of sport. And so they're just perfect for each other. But I think Aikman, anybody who really kind of, knows what that whole situation is like, knows that Jerry's not going to hire him. Even Jerry told me last year, he almost was brought to tears. I said, Jerry, what do you think about what Deion's doing at Colorado? It was early in his time, not this past season, but the season before. And Jerry got emotional. And he was just basically talked about the things Deion could do like no one else could do. But he then told the truth. He then said, Deion's where he needs to be. Deion doesn't need to be doing this. He doesn't need to be in the NFL. And so, guys, I'll come back on here and take my lumps, but I give this I'm down to a 1% chance.
Oh, just 1%.
It's never the first guy, but this is a great for Jerry. This was low hanging fruit for first take in all the shows in the next round. This was just kind of, hey, here it is. Here's low hanging fruit. You guys have fun with this while I go find Ron Rivera from wherever he's hiding out. Go make sure he's still alive.
I mean, what is more surprising? You talked about Texas, that program wandering in the wilderness for 14 years. The lack of success that program has had, or the fact that the Cowboys have not won a championship since 1995?
Well, I mean, they have some similar issues in that they just completely mismanaged and nobody could get it right. And I mean, I'm sure even you guys to a certain extent. Now, y'all saw the rehabilitation of Sark in your backyard. And so maybe the Sark hire was weird to all of us because it's like, man, this guy's had off the field issues, wasn't that great at Washington, flunked out at USC, personal issues. And then he's just been a monster at Texas. Jerry has just flailed around for 29 years, and it just feels like a curse. And, man, it's funny. I think people still try to say, well, Cowboys want championships, or Cowboys fans. That's completely misguided. If you know how – I mean, what's truly embarrassing for Cowboys fans is to see – Detroit and Cincinnati in recent years, and to see people like that break through, and to even like the Commanders won their first playoff game since 2005. Like, all these people are finally, after all these years, breaking through, and the Cowboys never do it. So, it's really weird because Jerry wants credit for, what did he say recently? He was telling us that over the past, 10 years, let's say, maybe it's 5 years, they're the 6th winningest franchise in the NFL. They had 3 straight 12-win seasons. Like, he thinks he should get credit for that. And that's his standard now. Like this. And so let me just tell you this. If they ever got, and they've only had 2 chances, they should have beat the Giants in 2007, and then they would have made an NFC title game with Romo, right? That was a great, great chance. And then the catch or no catch with Dez late in that game. Now, Rodgers had time to bring it back down the field, so let's not say that was a given. If that had been ruled a catch, the Cowboys win. But those are the only 2 true times the Cowboys had to break through. So I tend to agree with Aikman. I thought that was great the other night, what he said. And I think sometimes Cowboys fans think he tries too hard not to be a Cowboys homer. I don't think he cares. Like, he knows how he loves Jerry, but more than anybody, he knows how ridiculous Jerry is. Like, when Jason Garrett's asked, he's kind of cagey about it. He's like, well, there are some things. And Troy said it the right way the other night. Anybody, this is not true that people say this is some kind of highly coveted job. It's only coveted by people who are desperate for a job. Like the Ben Johnsons and the Aaron Glenns and whoever the up-and-comers are, Liam somebody, Cohen, they're not dying to get with the Cowboys. They're not like, oh, that's the biggest show in town. That's the biggest. I mean, like, that faded with, like, Parcells. He was the last person to decide, I want to do it at a place where it's like the biggest show in town. Everybody after that was like some kind of retread or a family member like Jason. Like, nobody wants this job except desperate people like Gruden, Carroll, people like that. And again, it sounds rude for such a great coach like Pete Carroll, but he's 73. In the history of NFL football, Pete Carroll should not be getting another job right now. But there's such a dearth, there's such a lack of candidates, he becomes like some kind of, oh, he's a great candidate. Oh, go talk to Belichick, see if you can talk him out of UNC. It's really kind of a joke.
Yes, Matt Mosley. On social media, at Matt Mosley, the Doomsday Podcast. If you love the NFL, if you love the Cowboys, he and Ed Werder do a great job with that. Mosley, it's always great, man. We appreciate so much time you spent with us.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you guys.
Hey, so randomly, the credentials behind you, if you could go back to one of those events, do you have one on top of mind?
I mean, that Fiesta Bowl with Baylor and UCF was, pretty outstanding. No, that was bad.
Blake Bortles.
Bortles put one on us there. Yeah, we were worried. Art was going to leave us that week. Man, there's just so many great memories. I was sitting at the 50-yard line in the press box when Eli, shook off. Who was on him? Harrison? No, Harrison was in coverage of Tyree. But when that happened, and he shook off the tackle and he makes that throw and Tyree traps it against his head. We're in Green Bay. It was like -8. I mean, that one was special. And I was only in that great seat because somebody had a heart attack that morning, but we don't need to get into that.
Yeah.
Did they die or not?
Yeah, are they with us still?
No, I think they made it. They made it.
Okay.
But again, let's not.
Let's not get into it. We don't want to get into that. No, you're not.
I was like, should we leave the seat open and put some flowers there? And like, no, he's still living.
Right.
You can have the seat. So Mosley just jumped in. I'm like, pretty good seat here.
Have a great week, my man. Good to talk to you as always.
Okay.
Right.
Good night.
All right. Good night. We'll see you. That is Matt Mosley with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
And our spotlight today brought to you by our friends at McCurry. McCurry brings you a little college football spotlight. Tyler, if you will, man, hit the open.
The college football spotlight.
It's presented each day by McCurry Van and Car Rental. Rent at McCurry. They got all the trucks, SUVs, and passenger vans, easy to rent, in and out fast. Locations in Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, and Coleman on 2nd Avenue Northwest, Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003. Or McCurryRentals.com.
All right, this is, and we'll get to the Quinn Ewers news that Brown was breaking during the interview. We'll talk about it at the top of the hour. This is the next trend, the little nugget about NIL, the little vein here that nobody's talked about yet, but we're going to get the test sample down at South Alabama. 27-year-old Bubba Thompson, some of you have seen the story already, was a Rangers first-round draft pick. He made it to the big leagues, played a few games with the Rangers, a few games with the Reds. His major league career is over with, so he is going to walk on and try to be a quarterback at South Alabama that could, and I'm not saying it's going to work for Bubba Thompson. I just think there are a lot of these baseball guys who go off and, you sign that deal at 18 and you have to go through the minor leagues. It's hard. Maybe you make a few games in the show, you don't. Now you're 24, 25. You've never gone to college. You got 5 years of eligibility. And, oh, by the way, we're now paying money to play college football. I think we'll start seeing some of these guys come back.
We saw it with Quincy Carter. You saw it with Drew Henson. You saw it with Josh Booty. We've seen it before.
We have, but I don't know that we've ever seen this. This guy was on the Reds opening day roster last year.
He was.
This guy has gone from opening day roster to walk-on quarterback at South Alabama. I can't imagine a bigger drop than that.
That's amazing.
With all due respect, my friends at South Alabama, to whom I pay a great deal of money for my daughter to be educated and be in a sorority.
Yeah, but if I was on opening day roster, I still have it was a bad year, but I figure I've got another shot at this, right?
Yep.
It's not like it was 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was the Reds, but I know what you're saying.
But opening day roster,
I'm kidding. Yes.
I mean, there's not many of those guys, and to go from that to walk on, you would think if you're good enough to be on an opening day roster, you could at least be in a baseball franchise, it is the Reds. I mean, it's pretty low, but
I agree though. But if you're one of 25,
you should be able to latch on somewhere. This guy just is like, no, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go walk on in South Alabama.
Yeah, because there's a chance that in the next year, after I prove it at South Alabama as a backup, I could be making $1 million somewhere for 3 or 4 years. Maybe the next little vein of NIL. That's our spotlight today, brought to you by McCurry. Top of the hour here. Final hour of the show, we will talk more college football. If I asked you, and people are throwing dirt on the SEC because this is 2 straight years, not even the championship game. Don't answer yet, teasing ahead. Next 10 years, 2025 season through the 2034 season. How many national championships does the SEC need to win to be still labeled as the dominant conference in college football and not all this talk of parity? That's when we come back here on TNR.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wheels, January 31st through February 2nd at the BJCC with customs, classics, hot rods, and more. Check out the exotic lineup in the Supercar South Hall, sponsored by Mob Inc. And don't miss the BMX stunt team performing outrageous stunts live. Friday only meet All Elite wrestler Christian Cage. Saturday it's Bill Carlton from Texas Metal. And Sunday meet Oscar from The Office. Bring the kids for free Hot Wheels racing, costume characters, rides, and more. Get discount tickets at all O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Details at worldofwheels.net.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Back with you on the Next Round, final hour of the show, always brought to you by, you know it, say it with me, Champy's Chicken.
Champy's Chicken.
Champy's
Chicken. You didn't give us time to say it with you.
I was never good at choral stuff. Yeah. Champy's Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and the crew. I guarantee you Sterling knew who Ronnie Millsap was.
Oh, yeah.
I know who Ronnie Millsap is.
I wanted to tell Sterling my resolution for him in 2025 is to open a Champy's on 280.
A Champy's on 280.
Why you want to do that to him?
He would
kill every restaurant there.
He's been at that one location on Highway 119 in Alabaster for over a decade. So maybe it is time to expand. He would want what he would like to call a little investor if you want to jump in on that with him at champyschicken.com. That great southern fried chicken, deep fried chicken, brined overnight, only the way Sterling does it. Mississippi Delta recipe, tamale, and so much more. It's champyschicken.com. They bring you this hour. So, too, does our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa LT.
Yeah, great place. Again, we were talking about the golf earlier. If you want to go hang out and play simulated golf all weekend, send a wife or girlfriend to Birmingham's best day spa, the Woodhouse Day Spa, located right there at the Summit Shopping Centers, right up of Highway 280. Voted America's best day spa since 2009. You can choose from that great menu you. They've got so many options, including the skincare, the nail services, the waxing, the body treatment, the massages, gift card, simple solution. Order them online 24/7. Birmingham.woodhousespas.com, or just stop and see Stuart and that great staff located at the Summit Shopping Center. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you.
First 30 minutes of the show was on college basketball. We'll revisit that here for a second. Auburn, number 1 in the country. Their first game back at number 1. Without Johni Broome, no problem at all. Chaney Johnson was a man coming in, almost a double-double. It was really Johni Broome-like numbers. Miles Kelly and Chaney Johnson last night after the 20-point win at home against nationally ranked Mississippi State, they jumped out early and had that eye of the tiger all the way through it.
I mean, just refocusing. I know we knew we had a lead, and we're trying to keep that lead. I know we had in Texas, we kind of let that slip away, so we didn't want to repeat that. So we had to just lock in, get a couple stops, and finish the game.
I would say basketball is a game of runs. So teams gonna go on runs, we're gonna go on runs, but I do feel like we need to start putting two halves completely together. I feel like sometimes we let our foot off the gas a little bit, start being a little more lax. And that just shows, I mean, we go in the film room tomorrow, watch film, and, I mean, for a team that's doing as well as we are and being number 1, I feel like we still haven't reached our full potential yet.
Yeah. Is there a box Auburn hasn't checked for you yet? I mean, didn't last night sort of sum up anything else you're worried about with this team?
Yeah, I mean, look, great defense, the ability to win at a high level, at a dominant level, without one of the best players in all of college basketball. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the other questions would be.
I guess the one box they haven't checked that they'll eventually have to check is a highly ranked road win.
Well, I mean, you had some neutral sites.
Neutral sites, but I'm saying going on the road in a tough environment.
But, you know, beating Iowa State, neutral site, beating Houston, neutral site.
Neutral site's fine. I'm just saying that's the one thing. I mean, I'm not saying they can't check that box, but they have not checked that box as of yet. But they'll obviously get their chances.
Yeah, and maybe Georgia, again, if Georgia is able
Conference.
to upset Tennessee, I don't see that happening. Tennessee's an 11-point favorite for a reason. But if Georgia was to win that game and then to go into Athens and win that game, that would
I mean, that would be their best road win.
Taylor Korn always says on the basketball show, great podcast if you haven't checked it out, Taylor Korn always points out, you can call Houston a neutral site game if you want to, but it wasn't.
No, that was a road win. No, I'll give you that. That was a road win. You're right. I was still putting that in the neutral site category, but it was not a neutral site game. But, you know, they go play they play at Georgia. Lance, you mentioned that's a top 25 road win if you can get that one. They're at Ole Miss the first night of February, which looks like a more interesting game now if Ole Miss can continue doing what they did last night.
Yeah, you still got to go to Tuscaloosa, got to go to Lexington, got to go to College Station. I mean, those are all going to be, you know, maybe top 10 teams at the particular time they're playing them.
But, you know, I mean, I guess that's a bit overrated, too, because you know what you don't do when you're playing for a national championship?
Play on the road.
Play on the road.
Play on the road.
So really, I mean, what's it matter? I mean, if it matters in terms of winning the Southeastern Conference and maybe getting a 1 seed or a 2 seed or whatever, but ultimately in terms of winning a championship, if you could play a bunch of tough road environments, it doesn't really necessarily help you in the NCAA tournament.
Did you give me an updated KenPom earlier on where Alabama dropped?
To 10th. I don't know if I did or not, but they were down to 10th. Auburn is number 1.
Yeah, Auburn's number 1, obviously. 10th.
Well, Duke had been number 1. I mean,
only for a brief moment.
Well, Auburn, they were number 1. I'm just
like
saying,
for just a day, like even
okay.
before the week came back, it was Auburn back to number 1.
Not insulting your Auburn KenPom rankings there.
I'm just saying,
pointing out Duke has been number 1.
Duke was number 1 for like 17 minutes.
Okay.
So
I didn't have the clock set.
Auburn, Duke, Houston, Iowa State, Tennessee, Florida, Kansas, Gonzaga, Illinois, Alabama. And you told me where Ole Miss jumped up to, right?
Ole Miss is 18th.
Jumped up.
I don't know
18th.
where they were yesterday.
I think they were 20.
They were 22nd, I think, in defense. They're up to 14th after last night. So that was a big jump for them defensively.
Ironically, check where Alabama's defense actually went up last night.
No, it did. Alabama's up to 32 defensively. They're getting very close to being able to be on Taylor's graphic.
Yeah, get inside that window.
Get inside that window. Of course, now they play Kentucky next. Probably going to hurt your defensive ranking. I don't know. It's just for pace. It may not.
Yeah, we'll end up seeing. Speaking of Alabama, we talked about let's see, what was the word Nate used last night? Disgusting. He said it twice in the soundbite we played earlier. One of the disgusting things, really, Nate, he never really bitched that much about the turnovers. 21 is a lot. He bitched about offensive rebounds, and he was like, the guys didn't realize how much of our offense we were generating off of offensive rebounds. They were one of the more elite offensive rebounding teams in the country, and they only had 3 legitimate offensive rebounds last night in the loss at home by double digits to Ole Miss. Aiden Holloway, who led the team in scoring, did talk afterwards about the 21 turnovers. Here is Aiden Holloway, Tyler.
It was a message to start the game off and at halftime. So we just we let that part of the game get away from us. I would just say we weren't locked in enough to really just start off the game, and I think it carried out through the rest of the game. And he was making a lot of comments about it, staying honest about it to just take care of the ball, but we weren't able to do that tonight.
I wonder if Nate was sending a message, by the way, to the 2 guys who's up there. It's Aiden Holloway and Jaron Stevenson, not the 2 guys you see up there a lot. Well, there's no Grant Nelson there. There's no Mark Sears there.
I had a buddy reach out, a big basketball guy, and he said, look, Aiden Holloway has got to play more. He was like, he is the only consistent night in, night out guy for Alabama.
You know who was a no-show last night? The guy who's probably the best NBA prospect on the team? Phylon. He was a no-show last night.
But he has bad games.
So right
he got
now,
popped in the lane that one time.
Yeah, Holloway's only averaging 20 minutes. I mean, it's off the bench, and he is instant offense. But, look, you've got so many guys. Again, we talk about the depth of this team all the time, but if you've got a guy that can carry a lot of the offense.
How many times are you going to see Phylon go 0 for the game?
Not a lot.
Yeah, 1 free throw.
How many times are you going to see Sears in 39 minutes only hit 2 shots?
Holloway was basically a starter last night. He played 29 minutes. I know, he's not starting 5, but when you play 29 minutes, you've basically played a starter's role at that point.
Yeah, but for him to average double figures, over 11 points in only 20 minutes.
Little disappointed in Cliff last night. Big Cliff.
It seemed like he had found his place, too.
Yeah.
3 points, 2 boards disappoints you?
13 minutes. Diabate played the same number of minutes than him. I think they felt like they were getting as much effort out of Diabate as
4 points, 4 boards. That's better than 3 and 2. Yeah.
But they couldn't find an answer for Malik Dia, and a lot of miscommunication on the defensive side. All right, so that's the basketball. More SEC basketball tonight, including the big one, Georgia and Tennessee. Number 23, Georgia. Number 6, Tennessee. Oklahoma, Texas, pretty good game. If you like rivalries as well, all that on the SEC Network. Triple header starting with Vandy at home this afternoon. All right, back to college football we go here after we tell you about our great friends at Hemp Hill, LT.
205-229-2090. That is the number that Birmingham has dialed since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. Any of these arise in your home or business, our friends Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys ready to serve you. Had to make that phone call yesterday. Again, make it 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
And if you're tired of that outdated bath or shower, maybe the kitchen that's outdated and not as functional as you want, a master bedroom closet that just doesn't have the space that it could have and isn't as organized as it should be, that's where Brad Bell comes in. A+bathandkitchen.com. A+bathandkitchen.com is the website. The way we found Brad is it was time to update the master bath in the Brown house. And my wife, Jennifer, she took control of the project. She got on the internet, scoured the internet, looked for the right person for the job. And Brad is who she found after talking to several contractors, people that had used certain contractors. She got several people to come out and bid the job. And we just felt best about Brad, and I'm glad that's who we picked. He did tremendous work in our bathroom, and we've recommended it to so many people. Several people on our street have used him, and they've all had rave reviews. 422-1758. That's his number, 205-422-1758. Or if you want to see some more before and afters, A+bathandkitchen.com. You can find out more about how you could get in touch with Brad there and get him to come out and look at your job. He specializes in master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. Does it all, but that's where he specializes, and that's good. You're going to make your money back when you go to sell your house with those rooms. 422-1758, A+bathandkitchen.com.
How many SEC championships in the next 10 seasons, 2025 through 2034, do you think the SEC needs to win to be considered still the dominant conference in college football, something that a lot of people say they've given up now with 2 straight years of not even being in the championship game, despite what has happened in the last 21 years?
Well, because we have no Pac-12 and we shrunk this down to a Power 4 now, I think you got to win 7 of 10.
I was going to say 6 or 7 because I'm going to assume, so if you just won 5, I think the Big Ten wins 4 or 5 of the other ones. If not all 5, they probably win 4.
Yeah, I would say 10 years you're going to get one ACC or Big 12 out
or
of
Notre Dame or somebody like that, just some random. But by and large, it's going to be Big Ten and SEC moving forward. So I think you're going to need 6 or 7. I think Lance is right on that to be considered the dominant, no questions asked about it conference.
Are you guys as worried about the conference being that again as everyone else seems to be?
Well, I mean, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Like if the SEC doesn't win a championship in 10 years, it doesn't bother me.
I know we didn't all lose our earthly belongings in an LA fire.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about relatively to talking sports.
No.
Do you guys think the SEC can do it?
No, I think parity is good for the game. I think it forces everyone to strive to get better. Like, I think a lot of SEC schools, I think Georgia right now, Alabama, Tennessee after what happened to them to Ohio State, LSU, Auburn. I mean, it's probably the top 8 or 10 programs in the SEC are saying we've got to get better than we were. That's only going to help you as a college football fan.
Yeah.
When programs are thinking that way, that only makes college football better. I don't want them to sit around and be comfortable. I want them always trying to get better.
Let me ask you, does it help moving forward to have, and you just talked about it, we got all this parity apparently in college football, but what you just said, 8 or 9 teams, top 8 or 9 teams in the SEC competing for the national championship. What do you think, about 4 deep, maybe 5 deep in the Big Ten? Does it help to be in the league that has so many programs who think they should be in that conversation?
Well, I do think the SEC year in, year out is going to get more than any other conference. In your Big Ten, you're definitely talking Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Oregon, USC.
Yep.
I mean, I know people are going to scoff at USC just because they haven't done anything, but I still think that they've got the potential to be a major player.
Yeah.
But I think the SEC is going to get 4 or 5 every single year.
Chip Patterson, CBS Sports Today.
Of course, only got 3 this year.
Yes, I know. Every year from now on.
Ranked the top 10, all 10 college football playoff national champions. Ranked them 10-1, so he's tagged one as the best of all time. And then I'll ask the question to you, where do you think Monday night's winner fits into this group? Who do you think Chip tagged the best college football playoff era national champion?
The best 2 I've seen are 2020 Alabama and 2019 LSU. And I think that's always going to be the argument. I bet Chip went with 2019 LSU. 2020 Alabama gets dinged because it is a COVID year. I think they actually ought to get more benefit of it because it was a COVID year. Everything you had to endure and to be that dominant and go unblemished and play a schedule that was 10 SEC games, an SEC championship, Notre Dame and Ohio State. Nobody has ever played a tougher schedule.
Yeah. To me, those are the 2 teams.
Yeah. Who do you put 1?
Number 1, I would put.
You guys have the top 2. Which one do you put 1?
I probably would go LSU.
They're so hard to compare just because of the whole COVID thing.
But the difference is, like, if you look at the entirety of everything, it's just hard to go Ed Orgeron over Nick Saban.
Exactly, yeah.
Alabama's where Chip went.
He went 2020.
And he says it doesn't get the credit it deserves because of the pandemic. He went 19. LSU, obviously number 2 there, that great offense. But, Alabama's offensive numbers compared. The team that slaughtered Alabama out in Santa Clara, 2018, Clemson is 3. I don't disagree with this list at all yet.
So far, so good.
Number 4 is 2022, Georgia, the team that slaughtered TCU in the national championship. I don't disagree with them at all. Number 5 is 2021 Georgia, the team that handily beat Alabama, injured Alabama.
Oh, what? Handily is an overstatement there. Yeah.
They owned the fourth quarter.
I mean, Alabama led going to the fourth
multiple
quarter.
Scores. I said injured Alabama. They didn't have the receivers.
I'm just saying, I don't think they beat them handily.
2023 Michigan slides in at 6, the team we saw last year unbeaten all the way. Chip Patterson's list here. 2015 Alabama, number 7 on the list. Number 8 on the list, 2017 Alabama. Number 9 on the list is 2014 Ohio State. And number 10 on the list is 2016 Clemson, the one that beat Alabama down in Tampa with the pick play.
The pick play.
Where does Monday night's national champion, you think, slide into that group?
It's going to be
slide
weird.
In at 11?
If it's Ohio State's better than some of those teams.
Better than the Deshaun Watson 2016
I don't know.
Clemson team.
I say that. They're playing better than that right now, but they haven't been better than that all year.
Yeah, I mean, if you took the Michigan game out, I know you can. If they just would have won that game by a field goal, You go back to the other loss in Autzen by 1 point to Oregon where they were driving to win that game. I mean, then you start to look at the domination in this playoff run.
Because we saw the rematch with Oregon, and I'm going to
not even close.
I'm going to assume we might have seen something similar to that in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I do think maybe this conversation changes because I believe right now Ohio State's going to win this game by 21+. And if they are able to win 4 playoff games by 14+, it's pretty impressiив. So, I think they would squeeze into this conversation.
I know. I'm just saying, how high
but
do you
I don't
think
know
they
how
go?
high they would go.
I mean, that 2016 Clemson team was good, and it beat a really good Alabama team. You obviously have to be good to be national champion. I do think this Ohio State team, if they end up sticking the landing despite the 2 losses, is better than that one that beat Alabama in 2014 in the Sugar Bowl and went on to beat Oregon. Then Chip has them ahead of the Clemson team I'm speaking of. But I even think that this Ohio State team is going to be the best of the Ohio State national champions in the playoffs. The one that wins Monday night.
I mean, again, it is hard to say when they're a 2-loss team that didn't even play for their conference championship. But
I mean, this is going to become the second 2-loss team to win a national championship. Is that right?
Other than LSU did it the BCS era.
Yeah. Where did they have 27? Where did he have 2017? Alabama. That's an interesting team to me.
Number 8.
Yeah,
one behind the Derrick Henry, Jake Coker's 2015 team at 7.
I think 2015 was better. The 2017 team was just a weird team to me. Like, they were
offensively challenged, had a really good defense, didn't really. I'll go back and pull their schedule. They didn't beat anybody of consequence in the regular season. Lost the Iron Bowl. Scary win in Starkville.
That's right. That was where they should have made a quarterback change.
And then didn't make a quarterback change for the Iron Bowl. Lost that one to Jordan Hare.
So their wins were Florida State to start the year, which at the time looked like a good win, but DeAndre Francois got hurt early in that game.
Third quarter, I thought.
Was it third quarter?
No, okay. it was earlier.
All right. Anyway, 24-7. And then after that, they beat Fresno State, Colorado State, Vandy, Ole Miss, A&M, Arkansas, Tennessee. LSU was a ranked win. State was a ranked win. Mercer lost to Auburn. I mean, that regular season wasn't great. But when they got there, they beat Clemson in the Sugar Bowl and then changed quarterback and came back and beat Georgia. So I'm not saying they don't deserve the national champion. I'm just saying I don't know that I would have them 8th, but some of the teams you have behind them, I don't guess are better than them either.
Yeah. So interesting list there from Chip Patterson. Okay, Quinn Ewers' reaction after LT tells us about our friends at New York Butcher Shop.
New York Butcher Shop, just a great place to stop in. You can enjoy those huge deli sandwiches for lunch. They've got that sandwich station. You can put one together. They've got just incredible ones, the go-tos from the fresh meats, the deli sandwiches, the specialty items, great selection of fine wines and desserts. It's a one-stop dinner shop. Get in, see Jim and the fine folks there. Original location in Cava Heights, newest location 119 Greystone. Rare quality, well-done service. It is the New York Butcher Shop.
The most underappreciated quarterback in Texas football history, according to Matt Mosley, earlier in our show, Quinn Ewers. He's going to the NFL.
Yeah.
I get the feeling, LT, you think that is the wrong call.
I think it's a wrong call. It might end up working out for him. I just thought he was inconsistent, the money he can be making. If he goes in the first round, it's the right call. So it comes down to that. If he goes in the second round, third round, I think he could have made more money coming back and getting a better draft grade than he's going to get in this draft. But again, this is not the best quarterback draft out there. It's one of the weakest I've seen in a long time.
I mean, I think best case for Quinn Ewers in the NFL draft is being drafted in the Jordan Love role, right? Where I'm drafted. I'll use your organization. I'm not saying you want yours, but I could see an LA Rams type situation where Stafford's got how many more years left, do you think? 3 or 4?
Yeah, that would be ambitious.
Yeah.
He could shut it down.
He could shut it down.
Yeah, so you've got an insurance policy there, a guy that I don't spend a whole lot of draft capital on that Matt Stafford can teach. And maybe one day he's my guy, but if he's not, I haven't really lost a whole lot, right? A situation like that. I could see that's where I would see Ewers getting drafted if he comes out this year or if he goes and plays next year. Now,
But where does he get drafted to do that? Like Michael Penix was drafted in the first round to do that.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, normally a second or third round pick, right? But don't you think that's where Ewers will be drafted? A second or third round?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I could see
I hope he goes in the first now just for Ewers.
There's no doubt he's leaving, thinking he's going to be a first-round draft pick, though, right?
That's what he thinks. Yep.
I think Miami will absolutely draft a quarterback in the top half of the draft. So there's an example. I should have used my
When you
team.
say top half, you mean first 3 picks?
First 3 rounds, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, first 3 rounds, not first 3 picks. No. Yeah. They're heavily invested in Tua, obviously, but nobody needs a better backup than Miami.
How many picks do you guys have in the first and second?
I'd have to go look. I don't know.
You
right
have multiple, though? You have a lot?
I'm just saying they will use a pick early on a quarterback. That's a situation where I can see Quinn Ewers being that type of situation.
I wasn't being stupid. I was just, top half. I was just pointing out for our audience that you didn't mean top half of the first round.
No,
you wouldn't
top
use
half
your
of the
first round.
draft.
Yes. And I was just wondering if you had multiple first-round draft picks. Maybe sometimes people take flyers on their quarterback with their second one.
But, I was about to say, I say that of Quinn Ewers, that's going to be the case for him no matter what he does. But if Joe Burrow had come out after 2018, where would Burrow have been drafted? About where Quinn Ewers is going to be drafted, or worse, probably.
No, he'd have been.
So there's always that one year.
He might not have got drafted.
He would possibly be UFA.
Yeah, there's always that one year that could change everything, and it did for Burrow. I mean, it made him a high pick and now a coveted quarterback in the NFL.
Carson Beck went from a top 3 pick to Miami.
And
not the Dolphins.
If it doesn't work out well, he may not get drafted. Yeah. I mean, I could see that. If he sucks at Miami, he may go undrafted next year.
Yeah. The Steve Sarkisian Cowboy rumor made a few more headlines yesterday when Adam Schefter actually said it on the Pat McAfee show that he believed Sark and Jerry Jones would talk, and that there is some consideration, NFL buzz for the name Steve Sarkisian out there. Thing to keep in mind is if Steve Sarkisian did take an NFL job, remember what happens to that Texas roster for 30 days.
Oh, yeah.
It gets picked apart.
Portal wide open. And you can't pick from anybody, but everybody can pick from you.
And what direction do you think Texas would go? I don't think this is ever going to happen.
I don't either, but that would be a fascinating hire at that point.
It really would, because again, you talk about the dominoes that fall out.
If you can keep it all, enough of it together now.
You don't have an heir apparent that pops for me right on the
I'm telling you who they would go after is Marcus Freeman.
And if I'm Freeman, I'm like, I can probably get the same kind of money at Notre Dame.
I think I would take Texas.
Why?
Just for NIL money?
Why?
Look, I know they're in this spot, but can they continue to be in this spot?
It's easier for me to get to that spot than it is Texas, I think.
But I just know that Texas has got more money than anyone.
Yeah, but there's no way Texas would outbid Marcus Freeman's payday.
I'm not saying they would, but even if you could match it, I mean, if you're Marcus Freeman, do you believe you have a better opportunity year in, year out to be in the situation he's in this coming Monday? I know it's at Notre Dame right now, at Notre Dame or Texas. To me, Texas...
You should have a tougher schedule. I mean, I know Texas has one more year of this welcome to the SEC. Here's your gift package schedule. But after that, it'll become a real schedule in the Southeastern
I'm curious,
Conference.
do you think...
But do you guys agree that might be target number one? I'm just throwing it out there.
I think it's every big program. Like if Ryan Day left, if
Kalen
DeBoer left.
They're standing in line with the Chicago Bears right now.
If Kirby Smart left. If
I know he would take Ohio State just because he played
It's his old school, so maybe he would.
I think Texas is one of the few that he really would take a look at.
Do you think, Dunaway, that when they reevaluate the seeding, that there'll be a chance that they could open it up for Notre Dame could get a top 4 seed?
Oh, yeah. The only thing that's preventing them is a rule that is based for conference champions.
Yeah, so if they eliminate that, so it could actually, the playoffs could even get better for Notre Dame than they already are.
But Notre Dame's one vote. Why would anybody else agree to that?
Well, I mean, because the rule says you have to be a conference champion to be a top 4 seed. If they take that rule away, which is what they're going to talk about doing.
Yeah, that'll be something.
So then it'll just be based on the rankings. And if I'm Notre Dame, that's only getting better for me.
And realistically, I mean, that's the way it should be. I mean, it should be, we seed 1 through 12.
And I think that's what they're going to eventually do.
Yeah. By the way, Penn State losing wide receiver Harrison Wallace. He was pretty good, 46 catches, 720 yards, leading the team in receiving. He's going to the portal. Also, Amari Evans going to the portal from Penn State, 2 of their top receivers to the portal.
And they're tied in.
So the running back stayed.
Hey,
the quarterback
by the way,
stayed.
They were able to take a game deep and almost win it without a wide receiver reception.
Not even throw to those
against
guys.
Notre Dame.
So those guys have left, and I assume somebody at Penn State noticed that they left. They didn't notice them during that game where they had 0 receptions. And then Brian Kelly is on record at the AFCA, the coaches' meetings going on in Charlotte, moving from meeting room to meeting room. He is called by reporters and asked a question and about his comment, resources. I left Notre Dame to have resources to win a national championship is why I went to LSU. He says, listen, I am rooting for Notre Dame. I will be rooting for them like we're in the game on Monday night. I recruited some of those players. I hired some of those staff members that are still there. I want nothing but the best for them. I will be cheering for Notre Dame on Monday night. Brian Kelly.
I mean, I don't know what else he's supposed to say. I don't know exactly how the question was asked, but
that's exactly what you're supposed to say.
Yeah, I mean, he recruited a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
And a lot of those staff members, including Marcus Freeman, was on his staff.
That's right.
Yeah, that does
promoted from within.
Yeah.
That does get a little tricky. Based on the fact that you want to pull for people that you've got a relationship with, but what does it make him look like if they win a national championship?
Yeah, because if it ends up being like you think it's going to be like 2012 Alabama blitzing Notre Dame, Brian Kelly can sit back in Baton Rouge, light a cigar, and say,
"Told you so."
Yeah, I've been there before.
Yeah,
yeah.
This is what I was trying to avoid.
Big difference if they get walked off the field or if they win a national championship.
Big difference. All right, I had this on my show notes. Forrester has sent it to me. Remember the name Matthew Sluka?
I do remember that. That's a big move for him.
UNLV starting quarterback.
Not getting enough money.
Mid-season. I'm not getting enough money. I'm going to shut it down. I know we could be in the college football playoffs. We're actually the pick right now to be in the college football playoffs. But if I don't get more money, I am not going to play anymore. And the coach said, "We'll see you later, buddy. I think everybody wants this guy anyway. Goodbye." So you know he's going to end up at a great football institution, right? It's got a good history, just not at the Division I level. But they are there now. It is James Madison, where Matthew Sluka is going to go and try to win the job. UNLV to JMU.
JMU, I think, over the last few years has been a better program.
It has been. It's just
close.
It's not playing on the same level.
No.
I mean, I don't think this is the move he had in mind, though, when he walked away midseason.
Not the move he had in mind. When we come back, a rarity in college football, we get the national championship game on Monday night where both those people have been promoted from within. They weren't outside hires, and they're playing each other for a national championship. In the NFL, it is a rarity to coach a team you won a Super Bowl with. It's only happened 7 times now with Mike Vrabel. I'll let you guys judge how the other 6 went when we come back on TNR.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness. Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Hey, the Browns see something that Nick Saban also saw, but Alabama fans did not. The Browns promote Tommy Rees now to be their offensive coordinator next year. He's the LC. He's on his way to being a head coach, either in the NFL or on the college ranks very soon.
Yeah, but Kevin Stefanski is the guy that calls the plays.
Yeah.
So it's really a title. But it's still probably a nice. I wonder.
If Marcus Freeman took a job, would they look at Tommy Rees?
Oh boy, I don't know.
Nick Saban, according to reports,
said he should interview for it.
Said that he recommended North Carolina hire Tommy Rees as the head coach, and I think didn't Nick want Tommy to get interviewed for the Alabama job?
Oh yeah. He loved Tommy Rees.
Yeah, so maybe based on that, I don't know. I would assume though he gets a nice pay bump here, but even with a pay bump, is he going to be making as much as he was in Tuscaloosa?
That's a great question. Mike Vrabel is a great hire, according to Bill Belichick. He praises that. Vrabel becomes the 7th coach in NFL history to win a Super Bowl and then get a chance to be the head coach of your franchise that you won a Super Bowl with. Right. You tell me how these other ones went. When I was a kid, Bart Starr was coaching the Green Bay Packers.
That was terrible.
It was not good. Also, when I was a kid, Forrest Gregg was coaching the Green Bay Packers.
Not good.
Not good. Jeff Saturday briefly coached
that was a disaster.
The Indianapolis Colts. Mayo just got fired. He's
Gerard
one
Mayo?
of the coaches, of the Patriots. Art Shell coached the Raiders a couple of times.
He had some success here and there.
It was good.
They didn't win a Super Bowl with him, though.
No, I think the furthest, and I could be completely wrong on this, but I think in 1990 they got to an AFC championship against Buffalo and got walked off the field. I think he was coaching that team.
Their Super Bowl coaches, if I'm not mistaken, are only John Madden and
Tom Flores.
Flores did make one.
Yeah, he won.
And then Callahan, then Bill Callahan, right? Bill Callahan took over after Gruden left, and y'all faced him the next year.
But he lost. But I think Flores and Madden won their Super Bowls. They did. Yeah. And the other name on the list, I don't think should be on the list because I don't think he was the starter. But do you remember who it is? We've talked about this team a lot today.
Jason Garrett?
Jason Garrett. He was not the starter for any of their Super
some.
Bowls.
He was not your regular starter, but he started some. That was an okay.
Yeah. But he didn't win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he had some good Cowboy teams. I don't know. Matt Mosley brought him up.
Yeah. I don't know why it randomly popped up, but I randomly saw a play on TikTok the other night that was Raheem Morris making an interception back in his NFL days.
For what team? Who did he play for?
San Francisco, I think it was. Did he play for the 49ers?
I can't remember.
I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah. The show brought to you by our friends at Michelson, and then LT is going to tell us what he started watching.
205-969-8100. That is the number you need to call. The number that I called more than 2 decades ago. I had the 2200 vision. I was wearing the contacts, wasting money each and every year on the contacts. A solution. If you're doing that, stop procrastinating. Find out if LASIK is right for you in 2025. Call 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation, 0 to lose, to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. For more information, you can always go online. Go to michelsonlaservision.com.
All right. It's pops up on my Netflix. I have not clicked on it because it looks like it would scare me.
So, yeah, I don't think you'd like it at all. American Primeval, Peter Berg, who, used to act more, has been behind the camera for the last 10, 15 years. He is one of the guys behind it. He directs all 6 episodes. I've seen 3 of them, 4 of them. Okay, so it's 1857. It's the Utah Territory. And so you've got 3 different divisions that are basically battling. You've got the U.S. government, the militia. You have got the Mormons. And then you've got the Native Americans. And when I say it is ruthless out loud, it is an understatement. It is, if you've seen The Revenant, have you guys seen The Revenant?
Yeah, I've seen The Revenant.
I think the Mark Smith guy who's behind The Revenant. So it's filmed a lot like that. It's very chaotic, but the arrows, the speed at which the arrows fly at you, pretty insane. But yeah, it's a lot of raping, pillaging, people getting their heads bashed in. I mean, it's probably, and I'm being serious when I say this, the most violent through 3 or 4 episodes of a series I've ever seen.
Wow.
The good news is...
and you have searched that out before, looking for violence.
Yeah, I want to say when Lance...
I don't search it out. I come across it.
When the violence stands out to Lance, I'm going to say it's probably...
Cormac McCarthy, who a Pulitzer Prize-winning author, who did No Country for Old Men. He did The Road. He's done some great... Blood Meridian is supposed to be his masterpiece. Now, I tried to listen to it. It was one of these long, long listens. But have you read it?
I haven't. I've tried to listen to it too, and I got a few minutes in
and
then saw
man.
that it's like a 6-hour listen.
Yeah,
so, no,
so I couldn't do
today.
it. Anyway, they've optioned this book, but everybody says it's too violent to do. But I'm hoping now with American Primeval, as violent as it is, maybe Blood Meridian will get the green light.
So it's a 6-hour audiobook?
Correct.
Hey, by the way, I don't know who was more ruthless, the American government, the Mormons, or the Native Americans.
Oh, wow. Well, we always portray it as the Native Americans because they were savages, but I would imagine.
Yeah, but you start to think, you put things in perspective the older you get.
Yeah.
Can you imagine your land that you've lived on for generations, and let's just say somebody from another country moved in right now and was like, hey, get out of your house.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And by the way, you started off being nice to them.
Right.
Okay, I tell you what, we'll share it. We'll share it.
Here's,
I'll teach you how to farm
squash.
it. Yeah, I'll teach you how to farm it. Thank you for teaching us that. And now move a little further west.
Well, how do you imagine they got that land?
They were born on it.
Yeah, I think.
Well, they weren't born on it from the beginning of time. You don't think?
I don't know.
You don't think the Native Americans fought each other for land?
But each other for land, but the Native Americans were.
I can understand how the Native Americans were as hyped up as they were.
Yeah.
You've always said you wouldn't want to live in a zombie apocalypse.
I would not. I want to die.
You wouldn't want to live in this territory back in the day.
No, I would pass. Hard pass.
I just assume it's like conferences back then. I mean, sure, there was, Iron Bowl battles between different Native American tribes.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
there was no Big Ten white man landing on my shore and saying, thank you for your maize and your women. Now get out of here.
My point is, you took that land from the Creek Indians. You don't think the Creek Indians killed somebody for that land? Of course they did.
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
they followed buffalo. They were killing each other, taking different pieces of land all the time.
Yeah.
Are you going to watch it, by the way, American Primeval?
I'll try to start it.
Yeah, so the reviews weren't great.
And I going to try to start
I had a buddy who was like, you need to check it out. He was like, it's really, really intense and violent. I was like, okay, I'll check it out.
It's okay.
And I don't think you would like it. Brown, I don't know.
Probably not.
But I mean, it is a good piece. So it was this massacre, and I forgot what the name of the massacre was, and it's in the first episode.
It sounds like it's probably realistic, and we always think of that period of time as we're going to ride some horses.
We play little cowboys and Indians back in the day.
Yeah.
Man, it is like you see a dude get scalped.
Oh, shut up. Let's do trash. It's brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right. Hit it, man.
He was buying tickets.
Hey, your old man passed away, right?
Oh, wow.
No, not yet.
Oh, I thought he did. I thought the judge was dead.
My brother died.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right, best in the business. Remember, whether you're looking for your final home, first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop. Visit them online, mortgageright.com, 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. Any of our listeners or viewers watched American Prime?
Somebody was talking about, hang on, let me dig back in the old mybookie.ag chat room here. What did they say about it? It was
I'm not over-exaggerating the violence.
Yeah.
I believe
it's funny, our buddy Bo out in the lobby, he texted me last night. He was like, I told him to get on it, and last night he texted me, he was like, my gosh, I wouldn't have done well in the Utah territory.
Oh, me either.
I don't think anybody would have.
At least I wouldn't get scalped.
Yeah, the Comanches are pretty vicious, several people are saying.
Hollywood in the chat says it's a great show. It's a mix between 1883 and Deadwood.
Oh, that's the one I was looking for.
Would say I would lean much more Deadwood.
I like Deadwood, though.
Yeah, Deadwood was great. So we start first with a story that I brought up to Tyler yesterday. He pulled it for us. The reason I got on American Prime Evil is this pretty gruesome story. 75-year-old woman in Ohio mauled to death by her neighbor's pigs.
Pigs.
Rebecca Westergaard was killed by her neighbor's pigs on Christmas Day, according to the Columbus Dispatch. The police chief, Bruce Brooks, told the newspaper that she was mauled to death by two pigs roaming near her home. The woman was found dead after a family member called law enforcement for a welfare check after no one could reach the 75-year-old woman on Christmas Day. She lives alone, reportedly found on her property near her home. Chief Brooks told the newspaper the case is, quote, horrible, horrible, horrible. But more details about the woman's death were not provided due to the ongoing investigation. Now, Brooks told the newspaper that the pigs had partially eaten the victim, but the coroner said the pigs mauled Westergaard, saying he would not characterize it as an animal eating her.
Oh.
Look at that pig.
Yeah, that's rough right there, man. Now, that's a small pig. That's not one of those big feral hogs. Is this the actual pig that did it, or is this a stock photo?
Stock photo.
This is just pictures of feral pigs.
You know, if you
but they get big out in the wild.
You survive an animal bite, whether it's a dog, a shark, the thing they worry about is infection after the fact. How dirty do you think a feral pig's mouth is?
Yeah. Pretty dirty. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's like they say a dog's mouth is actually cleaner than a human mouth.
So Tommy Lee's mouth or the feral pig.
If Tommy Lee spits on me, I feel like it's gonna melt my skin.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know if you can pull Reggie Miller's teeth, the bottom layer, but it's identical. I swear it is. That is amazing. See if you can pull Reggie Miller's bottom teeth when you get a chance.
You think that feral pig could hit a shot in Spike Lee's eye?
No, probably
negative.
not. Florida Sheriff's deputy has resigned from his job after he crashed into a civilian's car. Internal Affairs investigation found that former Deputy Tristan McComber was looking for something not safe for work before the crash happened. This happened early November 2024. His body-worn camera captured the steering wheel airbag deploying after his department-issued cruiser crashed into the back of another car. According to the new Internal Affairs report, the deputy told a sergeant the brakes had locked up before he rear-ended the other car that stopped for a school bus. The investigation eventually found that McComber wasn't truthful about what he was looking at on his phone before impact. Do you guys want to take a guess at what the report concluded he admitted to lying to before he was looking at this on his phone?
It's blurred out, so I'm going to say it is someone he is DMing with sex pic.
The pornography.
Yeah, I don't know the exact content, but he was, quote, looking at pornographic material on his personal phone just before the vehicle crash.
Now, but it's caught on his body cam? I mean, that's what we're seeing. So the dummy had his body cam on while watching pornographic material while driving a police cruiser?
Yeah, not smart.
Well, this guy does not need to be in the force. We need smarter police officers in this.
I would agree with that.
It needs to be done. By the way, my car, I don't know if your guys does this, but it's got a sensor on it, and it will stop itself, if it's getting too close to another car, which I know both of you would say, Brown, how do you ever drive? Because all you do is ride people's bumpers, which is overstated.
Do you have to replace that service in your car a couple times a year?
It really doesn't happen as much as you guys make people believe it does.
Yeah. What happens is if you're going at a certain rate of speed and that one is all of a sudden stopped or slowing down, it reads it and starts braking. Will it bring you to a complete stop?
I've never tested that. Now, if you're in a parking lot and you're starting to back out and somebody drives behind you, it will flat stop it. Yes.
Yeah. That's a slow speed. I don't know if you're doing 88.
No, I don't think it'll stop you from 88.
I think you found it there, Tyler, on the Name Those Teeth. I think it's the middle one. I think he got them redone, but I mean,
that's not the middle one's Reggie Miller.
Oh yeah, that was. Wow. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's pretty close, right?
He looks like he's got like the Predator's mouth.
Oh my gosh.
Or Alien, because Alien's got that other layer of teeth behind. Just like a barracuda does, too. A woman in Ohio said her order of chicken fries. Do people really order chicken fries from Burger King?
What is chicken fries?
They do.
Is it chicken strips that are shaped like fries?
Yeah, basically, it's a chicken finger that's shaped like it's like that.
So you don't dip the chicken fry in ketchup.
You can if you want to.
You could.
Yeah. Why would you not?
But more of a ranch, probably?
Probably more of a ranch.
I'd go barbecue sauce, but okay.
So this woman said she ordered chicken fries and came with several buds of marijuana. Now, TikTok user Janabama posted the video on Sunday after visiting the Burger King in Hamilton, Ohio. I don't believe a lot of these. I think they just do it for their hits.
Not true.
Now, she went on to say in the video, okay, went to Burger King tonight. Listen, I need you guys to listen. Got my kids some chicken fries. This bag came. If you look down in there, you can see some residue. She continues to say, got her chicken fries with the side of. Do you see that? Mary Jane from Burger King in Hamilton, Ohio. The video has more than 1 million views. Now, Miller Management, the management company for Burger King, told the Cincinnati Enquirer, quote, they're very disappointed to learn of the incident. Do not take incidents that put their guests in danger lightly. A sergeant with the police department said they're investigating, will release additional information. And the Hamilton Police Department said they have not received a report from the customer. Like, what do you do if you're Burger King? She completely makes this up.
Well, look, I mean, the damn things are laid out on a tray. I mean, it's not even a bag. I mean, show it to me in the actual bag.
That's the design of the plate.
No, I know, but I'm with Dunaway. Show me the bag. Anybody could throw the chicken fries out and then throw some pot on a tray.
And by the way, the one thing a worker's not going to give up is their weed.
Yeah.
How much is that weed worth right there, would you imagine?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I mean, it's enough to get me through the shift, which is all I'm trying to do.
We've got another person that was scammed out of money.
Can't stand it.
Way too much of this on trash.
Can't stand it.
So, French woman says she was scammed out of her life savings by an AI Brad Pitt.
Ooh la la.
53-year-old woman named Ann has revealed that she was scammed out of $850,000 after believing she was in a long-term relationship with the real Hollywood star, per the Men's Journal. Now, the scam began when she was contacted by a scammer claiming to be Pitt's mother, Jane, who, quote, told me that her son needed someone like me. And she went on to say the communication lasted more than a year.
It's easier to Photoshop if you've got that mask on.
It's a good point,
You don't have to be a great Photoshop artist to cut out that face.
I don't think he's got a mullet, which it appears dude wearing the mask.
I mean, she looks normal, right?
I know. That's what's surprising about
this. Is where it gets crazy, though. So I'm about to throw a wrinkle into the story.
It looks like they Photoshopped Theo Vaughn's head, and they put Brad Pitt's face in the middle.
Kind of long.
That is true. Yes.
Now,
that's not even the worst picture. I've got the rest of them right here.
At first, I said to myself, it was fake. This is ridiculous. Anne explained on a Sunday episode of 7 to 8 on French TV channel TF1. She went on to say, "I'm not used to social media. I really didn't understand what was happening to me." Now, using AI technology to emulate the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood actor, the scammer sent personalized photos and messages to the woman, leading her to believe the hoax. They later coerced her into sending nearly $1 million for his kidney treatment.
Unbelievable.
There's no way.
Hey, that's Clay Travis in that one on the top right there. Yeah. Clay's about to undergo surgery.
Now, they pretended that Pitt was unable to access his bank accounts due to this high-profile divorce from Angelina Jolie. Here we go. This is where it gets bad. Now, the woman who TF1 says struggles with mental health problems left her husband because of the scam. Left her husband for Brad Pitt.
Is that Brad Pitt's granddad on the bottom right? Is that what you got?
That was the thing, Brandon, I was going to point out. I mean, he's aging 22 years in this one-year relationship.
And he's wearing my granddad's pajamas. Yeah. I mean, nobody does that when they go to bed anymore.
I mean, he's got Theo Vaughn's mullet in one. Meanwhile, he's got my hair not shaved in 3 days in the bottom right there.
Do you think anybody...
that looks like a 50 sitcom.
Do you think anybody wears those kind of pajamas anymore?
No.
button up in the pants.
I'll throw the bottoms on occasionally, like for
maybe Wimp Sanderson.
I'll throw the bottoms on. I got 3 pair of bottoms to watch games in with a T-shirt.
Well, yeah, that's just lounging around the house. I'm talking about going to bed in pajamas like that.
No, I'm less than more. Yes.
I would sweat through the bed in those things.
I feel like you need like the little nightcap if you're wearing this kind of.
I'll tell you though, I decided to cut the heat off. It got a little hot last night. I cut it off. I woke up this morning. What do you think it was in the house?
62?
I'm going to say
56.
Woo!
Yeah, it did go down to 28 last night.
That's bad even for me.
Yeah, I could have used the PJs in that one. I woke up, I was like, holy heck, man, what has happened here? Can you imagine being this chick's wife or husband?
Yep.
She leaves you, takes $1 million of your dollars.
Gives it a fake Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's bad.
I don't buy all those stories. That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
They are your mortgage experts, no cost or obligation, just to reach out and see what you might qualify for. Again, you can get more information. Go to their website, mortgageright.com. You can call 205-900-7200. It's our friends at Mortgage Right.
Our dash to the end here, brought to you by our friends at Champy's Chicken as well. The fine folks at Champy's, Sterling and the crew there will help you with lunch and dinner and all your tailgating and parties and all the stuff you need to do as we roll through another year in 2025. He's on Highway 119, 11 years there, 119 in Alabaster. Sterling and his crew there with that brined overnight, cooked to order, deep fried chicken with no extra greenery in your bag when you take it away from Champy's Chicken. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, all the great sides and more. It's champyschicken.com. Let's see. NFL news. David Montgomery looks like he's going to return. It was only a walkthrough, but he was a full participant yesterday for the Lions at one point. He was thought to have a season-ending knee injury, but he has battled back through rehab.
Well, look, as good as Gibbs has been, change of pace, Montgomery can do so many different things for this offense. And I would say sarcastically, it's all they need is another weapon, but there's a chance Detroit in this postseason is going to have to outscore their opponents.
I think I saw this correctly. Another thing on Twitter, I should have favored it so I could bring it to the show. The only 2 quarterbacks in NFL history that have quarterbacked a game where they've had 0 turnovers and 0 punts in the playoffs were Peyton Manning and Jaden Daniels. It's hard to believe it's only 2, but I saw that stat. They did not punt against your Buccaneers, apparently, or turn it over.
Oh, I know. We did not play well.
Oh, well, I mean, crap. It took a field goal banged off the upright for him to win it.
Yeah, I think this is too tall of an ask for the Commanders.
Agree. But he ain't going anywhere, I don't think.
I will say this, though. If whoever wins the Rams-Eagles game is going to beat Detroit.
Detroit.
Yep.
I did not see the Tiger version of the TGL last night. I saw some highlights. Looked like they were having a good time.
They did. Kisner he scored a bunker shot, and it hit the pin and made the loudest noise I've ever heard. It was
so hilarious. What did it do once it hit the pin?
Oh, it bounced way off to the right. But, I mean, if it doesn't hit the pin, it goes in the crowd.
Which they've never accounted for, by the way.
Right.
To happen.
Well, you don't think a pro's going to skull a bunker shot.
Hey, good basketball tonight. We told you about the SEC games. Number 9 Kansas on the road against Iowa State tonight. Are they number 2, Iowa State?
Got to play 3? On that game. Got a side. Dunaway 11 plays up. Lance's like.com.
I think that's the highest ranking in school history for Iowa State.
6 p.m. on ESPN2 for that one. All the SEC games on the SEC Network. We're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. New Bama and Bourbon is out. Aaron Suttles, Lance Taylor talking Alabama athletics. You can go check that out on the platform right now, wherever you get our videos, including Bama and Bourbon. We'll see you tomorrow. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.